All right, folks, you're already online. This time I managed with somehow to kind of schedule this. Maybe the first time ever I actually done it. So yeah, good to have you people online once again, and welcome to Rauta's monthly stream, July 2025 edition. Obviously, beers once again by Malla Sebat. Today we'll start with tiramisu imperial stout. So coffee, cocoa, and amaretto. And as you can see, this is 10.4%. So pretty strong beer. And that's how the world of imperial stouts work. Uh, while things have changed since the last stream, not too much. Mainly, probably the focus area here. I had a little bit of a how to say a software problem which I couldn't really figure out from the very get go. Like I wasn't, you know, sure what it would affect the screen size and zoom and whatever, and I had a little bit of understanding what was going on. And turns out I was looking the problem in the wrong software. Now it's fixed, and my head is larger than ever. No jokes aside, I just decided that it's pointless to zoom, do whatever in the background, and keep the more focus. And obviously, I do have some minor news about this and that. And of course, now I'm back from Thailand. I spent almost 4 weeks there traveling, taking a little bit of break from everything, band stuff, Rauta stuff, work, obviously, and just being in a rainy Finland. So it was good timing. It's been a horrible weather, horrible summer in Finland so far. So I guess it was good timing to be in Thailand. But first things first, beer questions and answers. Now, I cannot provide you beer, but I can provide you answers to your questions to the best of my abilities. Once again, please tag Rauta once you want to make sure I see your questions, because the chat is just scrolling here right here for me on the side of the screen. And since you will be commenting a lot anyway, I'm gonna miss some of the questions. But so if you want to make sure I'm gonna answer your question, tag me just at symbol and Rauta, and then I will see your message highlighted, because then I know you're pointing that question to me. And maybe you're already noticing my voice is a little bit gone. I mean, it's kind of down and shit, whatever the right word in English language is. And it's because I have had a flu for about a week now. I mean, it feels strange since it was like 30 plus degrees centigrade in Thailand all the time. But the last week or so, I have been just had a running nose, and now it's getting a little bit better. But I've been sneezing and putting that where the slime live kind of a thing out there. So it's still, bothering me, and I haven't been to the gym for, I don't know, maybe 10 days so far. So I'm obviously looking very, very much forward to getting back to the gym, getting back to the routines. I'm going to be back to my day job on Monday. So this is my second last day off, summer vacation and all. I just visited the night side rehearsal place, or not actually an official rehearsal place, but our keyboard player's home studio, where the drum tracks for a new Nightside demo were recorded, and we're in the process of creating a new demo for the labels. So already getting back to routines, except working out at the gym feels fucking good. Anyway, this is Rauta Stream. This is me babbling and answering your questions. So cheers to you all. I hope you have some good beverages to go with. Tasty. So indeed, welcome to the stream, for minutes and all. And I see some people having been here for the schedule. So hello, Mike the Psych, Rob, Hellfire, Terrorized, Ally, Baby, Terve, Sigurd, and Northbound. All of you guys, gals, Eric, Sire, hello once again, my Canadian friend. Nice to have you here. And yes, I know I look tan, because that's really true. I hear it might sound like seem like a pale thing, but for my standards, I'm pretty brown. Now, if you would see my sun lines, let's see the tan lines, whatever you call them, I could show you, you know, showing you some skin, and you would see the difference. So while this looks pale to a lot of you people right there, or my face, really there is a huge difference between the color of this side of the skin or whatever I'm having under my underwear. But I guess you are not ready to see me getting naked and shit. So let's not do it. But yeah, having 3.5 weeks in Thailand, man, I get a lot of tan. And I'm not even the kind of a guy who goes for getting the tan, laying around by the beach or by the pool, just, getting the tan. What I got is just because I was, taking a little bit swimming in the pool and just walking around outright, and all that shit. And I gotta say, Thailand was a beautiful country. We visited three different places: Bangkok, one medium-sized city, and one beach resort, like a national park with a beach and some small resorts. I gotta say, yeah, I definitely could go back to Thailand in the far future. People really nice and polite, and doing their best even though they barely speak almost English at all. Everything is cheap, the food is good, and all that stuff. But gotta say, as someone who has been living most of his life in southern part of Finland, that heat wave is just too fucking much on the with a longer scale. I mean, spending a lot of time there. um I had this idea in my head that maybe I could, do some kind of a video about it, add some photos and all that shit. But I don't know if you people really give a shit about my traveling photos. So maybe that there is no point of making that. I just get go through all the things related to the trip, the ones that I'm ready to share, that is, here on the stream. But I can tell you this much: visiting, places like the zoo or the aquarium in Bangkok, visiting Capybara Cafe and seeing those cute, nice, chill animals. Uh, Walking around in some places in Bangkok, the city is huge, bigger than New York City, and I love New York City, but Bangkok just feels like wow, with all those skyscrapers and all that stuff. A lot of ideas which I wanted to do during the trip didn't happen because of various reasons, which I'm not gonna tell you here. But anyway, take my word for it. It would have been very different under different circumstances, and I kind of miss it. But then again, sometimes you just have to go with whatever you are dealt with in terms of conditions and whatever. But it is an interesting country, for to say the least. And while at the moment I feel like I'm not going to touch any kind of noodles and fried rice, fried chicken kind of a dishes and all that shit. Yeah, maybe give me a few days and I'm back to it, because all the kind of Asian food I've had in my life, in Vietnam, in Thailand, or whatever, I love it. So yeah, yeah, yeah. While I'm kind of I've had my quota full with the given food and all that stuff, really can't get bored with the kind of stuff on the long run. And yeah, visiting Asian countries, at least for me, has always been lots of fun. Not that I've been there many times today, but still. Um, and yeah, I can strongly recommend if you want something different than your typical take on the Western side of life. So it was a brilliant trip in a way, but also way too long for me. I started, yearning back to get work, get the Rauta rolling again, get to the gym, getting back to routines, listening to a lot of music, because I didn't really listen to a lot of music while I was traveling. I didn't have those peaceful moments, except every now and then when I would put my buds in on my head, in my ears, listen to some King Diamond. I went through the whole discography just because they're playing at Beyond the Gates. I went some other bands too, like Lucifer from Sweden, Germany, whatever it's nowadays. The band with Nick Henderson of X and Tube and all, because they're playing at Beyond the Gates. So I'm kind of prepping for some of the bands I'm going to see live and hopefully interview as well. but nothing has been confirmed in terms of Beyond the Gates and the interviews. So next thing I need to do in terms of Rauta, probably tomorrow, I need to start nailing those bands, or more like their booking agents or managers or whatever, in order to make sure that I actually have some interviews in Bergen at Beyond the Gates by the end of the month. I mean, now we're having 5th of July, and Beyond the Gates starts at 30th of July. So 1, 2, 3.5 weeks. So almost a month. And while it seems like it's a long time in terms of waiting, yet it is, but in terms of setting up interviews, not that much. So that's the next thing I need to do. And I've been just basically, getting feel of some of the bands I'm gonna, see there live. Like now I've been listening through the Dark and Nocturne Slaughter Cult, because it's one of the bands I kind of want to interview. So getting prepped for the bands that are going to play there. It's going to be interesting. Now I'm going to start answering your questions while I'm blabbering here by myself. So, like I said, tag me if you want to make sure that I'm going to answer your questions. So I will start with the tagged questions. Ali asked me, watching Rauta and Black Sabbath live stream, Slayer playing currently on split screen. What a joy. That sounds wonderful. I realized only like 10 minutes before starting my stream that the Black Sabbath / Ozzy's last show, the stream, is happening at the same time that I'm going to do the stream. So obviously I'm going to lose that thing. So I'm happy to hear there are some people who are still joining my stream while they should be watching something more important. But yeah. Rob Hellfire was asking, in English, we have many silent letters which don't get pronounced. So in Thailand, the H is silent. So it's Thailand. Okay, interesting. It never occurred to me because I always figured out it's Thai, like, thigh as a part of leg. So yeah, I never, somehow I always, maybe because in Finland we say Thai Ma. So it's like Thailand, really. So I always figured out it would be Thai, not Thai. But okay, makes sense. So Thailand. All right. Could be the running joke for the rest of the stream here. Terrorized got vomiting because of the thumbnail. That's very, very good. It's good to get some reaction out of you people. All right. What else? Oh yeah, Northbound realized it's the Miss Independence on the thumbnail of the stream, because obviously yesterday was American Independence Day. So I guess now a lot of Americans are hungover. Maybe not, but yeah. And Loke Force, nice to have you here from Sweden. 7th beer, that's a great start. You started early, given that you're like 1 hour behind Finland. So if you're like 7 beer, you started pretty early. Harlequin is burning because it's so fucking hot. Where are you located, dude? So Rob Hellfire is saying it's beautiful in Western Canada, and now in terms of weather. Well, I wish we could say it was nice here, but this is kind of a borderline whether you can even go out t-shirt on. So that's why I'm wearing a long sleeve here. Yeah, Harlequin was asking clean shaven. I actually shaved my head today because I looked like a fucking homeless bum today. I had my scruff. My head was looking like the microphone style, not that short anymore. It was like exploding, and I had this kind of a horrible start of a mustache, and all the facial hair make me look like I'm homeless. So I figured out, in terms of looking somewhat decent for the stream, I decided, hey, let's shave the head and beard and all that shit. All right. Um, yeah, the beer. What I'm having here. Welsh. Is it Welsh? I don't see the font. It's too small. I need my reading glasses to read all that shit. This is pretty good. I've had this tiramisu stout somewhere in the past, and it indeed sounds tastes like a lot of coffee. There is this, I guess, amaretto feeling. Do a little, don't get that cocoa feeling so much, but it's somewhere in the mix. So it's not your typical imperial stout. It definitely has this coffee-like thing going on. In a way, tastes like some kind of a liquor. But this is a big change what I had in Thailand, because in Thailand all the beers are basically like just Thai versions of you know the typical German lager. It's just kind of tasteless. It's almost like mineral water with a hint of malt and hops. So basically, like take your Bud Lights or your, I don't know, your Heinekens and shit like that, and that's what you get with the typical Thai beer. I mean, I was talking about beers like Leo, um, and Chang, which I think is the most typical beer in Thailand. I didn't see Tiger beer this time, which I have tasted for the first time, I think something like 25 years ago, which was once again pretty much the same kind of a lager beer as the rest of it. So yeah, the beer was boring, but I was lucky to find some local IPAs and other craft beers from a local supermarket. So yeah, had some nice stuff there in terms of beers too. I even found some Finnish long drink, longero, from this small island resort, which really surprised me because you can't probably find it even, say, in the United States bars. So this small, like a, you know, island resort restaurant had Finnish long drinks, that is longero, the gray stuff that everybody loves once they come to taste of it. And it was surprising to see that, like, wow, who got it there? Yeah, so when people were asking, did I go for Ladyboys? Well, no. I mean, theoretically, I could be the guy who would go for some wild adventures. I mean, I'm not gonna deny it. When I was younger and I was in Amsterdam for I think my second time in Amsterdam. Yeah, obviously I went for the red light district and have some fun with the local red light district ladies. So I have had my experiences, with the paid for sex ladies. I'm not, you know, uh, shy to admit it. I have had few occasions, and it's wonderful. I mean, of course, I'm not exactly happy about the possibility of human trafficking and all that shit. But let's be honest, I'm no fucking saint. I'm no fucking nun or monk or priest. I'm a dirty, dirty guy. So what do you expect? Hookers and drugs. They are part of my history, and who knows? Maybe in the future too. I don't know. So sue me in heaven, hell, whatever. So Harlequin is not hungover, just tired as fuck. Okay, I hope you had a good 4th of July. I've been once to United States when it was 4th of July, and we accidentally ended up in San Diego on 4th of July, and that's probably the coolest fireworks I've ever seen. I mean, we had this road trip in 2013, and it wasn't even planned that we would be in a big city for the 4th of July. But as it so happens, we ended up after going through places like Las Vegas and smaller cities in Nevada and shit like that. For the 4th of July, we ended up in San Diego. Four of us traveling, so we just went for some outdoors park. And when we realized it's going to be 4th of July, that is, and just like with the normal people, locals, I guess, who were carrying around their like these, I don't know what you call this, travel chairs, which you just can go take outdoors and just sit down in your chairs and pop your beers. And with this, local people where we're just like staring at the fucking fireworks in San Diego. And some of my best sushi I ever ate was in San Diego just after these fireworks. So it was brilliant. I guess American people know how to party their Independence Day. Harlequin, it's Chung. I'm gonna tape it. Chung beer. If I'm not mistaken, I might be. I'm often mistaken. Um, I think the Chung means like elephant, which is an of course important animal in Thailand. Tigers too, but you know. So I guess they do that. For example, in Finland we have bear, which is one of our national animals. So we have bear beer. Makes sense. So I think it's kind of a typical for a lot of countries to have beers named after some, important animal. I wouldn't be surprised if some part of the world there would be, turtle beer or platypi beer. Platypi, greatest animals on earth. Hello, Theo. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Kai Nunito. This was the first time I think I actually scheduled. Uh, so yeah, there was a notification. I forgot to do it earlier. I was just coming back from the night sides, recording session and going to do some groceries, and then I was like, fuck. I hadn't posted anything about the stream, so only 2 hours prior to the stream, I actually posted pictures of these beers I'm having tonight, or at least a couple of them, so that the stream would be. I usually try to do the post about the stream beforehand, but this time I almost forgot it. It's only 2 hours before the stream, so I get it. Not everybody gets it, but it is what it is. That's why I hope people will be following at least one of the social medias, be it Facebook, Discord, or Instagram, so that they are getting the notifications. And yeah, Harlequin, there were some really, really nice beaches, the kind of almost white sand, really, you know, how to say, small grain sand, really soft and beautiful. I mean, the island area in Thailand is just beautiful. Sorry, I gotta start stripping. This is part of the stream, obviously. Because for some reason it's kind of hot here. I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling hot tonight. Maybe I will get laid. No, I won't. But hey, man can dream. All right. Yeah, Harlequin, if you're coming to Nordic countries and you want dark, come here in December and you will get your darkness. Yeah, Locaforce, you know that I'm a good guy, but just very dirty. Uh, John Blake, unfortunately, I didn't see any T-Rex attacking the city. Sorry. I mean, it would have been cool. Hello, Never More Rules. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, Harlequin, I can imagine that the traffic is crazy during 4th of July, but let me tell you this, never ever before I've seen real fucking badass traffic than in Bangkok around 3 p.m. or whatever. So this trip from the airport to our hotel was supposed to take like 40 minutes based on Google Maps. Guess what? Because of the fucking traffic, it took more than 2 hours. Sometime At some points in the fucking city central, there was nothing moving except for the fucking scooters, man. But I mean, the cars were not moving. We were just staring through the windows that there are like multiple lanes through the city and no car is moving. So it was just really fucking crazy. And while the taxis don't just, cost shit in Bangkok or any other parts of Thailand, it's really cheap. Fuck, the traffic is so just, I don't know, taxing. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, in that sense, can really recommend Bangkok. Oh, Harlequin, burn, don't mock Canada. Canada is great, at least in ice hockey. I don't know anything else about it. And of course, for black metal. Yes, Log Force, the album review thing work in the sense that I get a physical copy, I will review it. There are more details about it, and smaller bands usually get the underground trio episode, but if they want, totally optional, pay for the VIP treatment. That's when they skip the queue and they get their respective uh, individual, review video. But like I said, it's totally optional. Some bands want that you use that way to support the channel, uh, and they skip the lines because for now, for example, through my vacation, I got some like 30 CDs and tapes while I was away. So my big queue in terms of review CDs was something like 75 or whatever before I left, and now it's more than 100 some. So yeah, and I know there's already a couple of packages arriving, so there will be quite a bit of thing. Now I managed to schedule my videos until yesterday while I was traveling, so I made sure that I had material for 4 weeks or so. So now I'm pretty much done. There's like a couple of review videos scheduled for next week. But apart from that, I am like basically I have to work hard in order to make sure that there are these review videos getting done. Which reminds me, I need to change something. I just remembered that I need to add one reaction thingy here. Yeah, it's gonna be Severance season 2. Yep, yep. There it is. But yeah, getting a lot of review CDs. It's gonna be interesting. Got some interesting releases on my review pile. So when I was traveling, I was thinking about how could I make those review videos more interesting because now it seems most people don't give a fuck. And while it doesn't bother me that they're not getting big numbers, it kind of saddens me that when bands and labels want to put a lot of effort into sending CDs and tapes and vinyl for review, uh, and for them the reviews are important. Most people don't give a fuck. So consider this: my interviews usually on Rauta gets few thousand views. Some get more, some get less, but it's usually a few thousands just within a day or two. And when you get these typical reviews, it's more like a few hundreds, unless it's big bands. So whenever metalheads say, "Yeah, I'm only for the underground. I go for the unknown bands," and I'm like, based on numbers, no, don't you don't. I mean, you go big when it's big bands like Marduk or Behemoth or I don't know, even MGWA, MLGA. Um, but my point here is, unless it's a really known band, the kind of the Cradle of Filth and the Dimmy Borgers or whatever, they make nice numbers, sometimes even more than the interviews. But when it's about some unknown band or just smaller bands, most people don't give a shit. So whatever metal people say that we're only for the underground, I'm not buying it anymore, because a lot of people just go for the names they know, the names that kind of ring a bell. So in sense of reviews, I don't know how to boost them except for money, and I'm not gonna put my money on for fucking review videos. Doesn't make really much of a sense. But I want to do review videos because I want to talk about new music. I want to talk about the bands that send me some stuff. I just could call it a day and say no more reviews. I'm just random rambling videos and interviews and all that. I think that's when we would be really missing the point, because as much interviews are fun to do and as much as I consider them the main thing on Rauta, like the steak and potato kind of a thing, I also think that when we're talking about the albums, that's when we're talking about music. When I'm doing interviews, it's mostly about something else, like whatever the band people think about this and that. But it's not about like, hey, what's your favorite string? What kind of a tuning you have for a guitar? Or was it complicated to do the studio shit and like blah blah blah? Because I don't think that's interesting. Not interesting to me anyway. I don't excuse me, I'm not interested how was the studio session, because that's probably very fucking boring. I like to think that picking the brain of an artist for other things, be it about lyrics or their opinions about this and that, or experienced in being on you know around for 20, 40 years, whatever, what makes them thick to, work this kind of music, that the best experience is the worst and shit like that. I think that's where the interest is. But that is not so much about the music, whereas music reviews are always about the music, right? So when I'm talking about, say, okay, today we're going to talk about NSBM, or today we're going to talk about the cancel culture, or wait, today we're going to talk about, I don't know, fucking TikTok videos. They're not about the music. They are things that are related, connected to music, right? So in a way, it's kind of insane that most people watching the kind of a channel like Rauta, which is supposed to be about metal music, the most viewed videos are never about the music. It's always about what did that musicians do, what did that musician wants to be, or something like that. So it's kind of a hilarious. It's almost ironic that people are not watching music videos about the music. They want to know outside the music. I mean, it makes sense because they can say, hey, if I want to know what the music is like, I'm just going to Spotify or YouTube it. Fine. But it's still kind of ironic that you go for music channel and then you don't want to, talk about the music. And this is not that I'm criticizing you people. After all, you're here with the stream, here on the stream with me. So I guess you are the people who are more interested than the most of it. But I can still say that given that Rauta has now about 22,000 subscribers, so if a typical review video gets like 200 views, that's quite a fucking low percentage. So I'm saying maybe about 1% of the subscriber base is actually just interested about, hey, what is this new band? What is this album about? What kind of stuff they're playing? What kind of influences you can hear in their music, or what are the similar artists? Like, hey, I like Watine. Is there anything I can, get out of it if I'm a Watine fan? Or is this new thrash album is more like Slayer, or is it more like Metallica? Maybe it's more like, I don't know, Exodus. So I'm saying it's kind of a weird. Imagine if this was a sports channel. I would be covering, say, ice hockey. Okay. And when I was talking about the games, nobody would just watch the videos. But when I'm talking about how the ice hockey player is banging his wife or beating up his old girlfriend, people would show up because it's scandalous. So they would be just, tuning in, not for the sports, but the drama around it. So I find it kind of a hilarious. I mean, I know when I'm talking about the touchy feely subjects, be it NSPM, be it hot topic related to politics and all. I get it. It's what you want to know. But I feel like then you are also missing the point because this is supposed to be about music. But, anyway, I don't want to repeat and sound like an echo box here any more than that. But I'm just saying it's kind of ironic. So I'm going to make those reviews despite how few views they're going to get. But I'm just saying it's kind of a sad for the bands and labels who are putting their money and effort and time sending these review albums. And then people are like, fuck you, new music. I'm not going to listen to your new music. I'm just going to listen to old battery albums and fuck you. So there it is. And Nevermore Rules, thank you big time for your donation. You're once again helping the Rauta thing. I wanted to say helping the Rauta cause. I don't know if there's a Rauta cause. This money is, as you know, help to fund the trips so we can do interviews. And of course, my editor gets a share for all money coming through YouTube and all, including these streams. So she gets a little bit of compensation because she's working her ass off for these videos, these interview videos. That is, I edit the rest of the videos by myself, but the interview videos, like I said, it's the steak and the potato. They're the grand jewel of the whole channel. So getting help from a real professional editor to make sure that you get the best out of those interviews, me and my cameraman are doing. So she totally deserves her own cut of the money. So thank you for your donation. It will be needed for coming trips. For Beyond the Gates festival that is taking place in the end of the July and early August. Luckily, due to some Steelfest advertising and due to previous donations by people, and of course the normal YouTube income, I can safely announce that we have more than enough to pay for that hotel for Beyond the Gates, and then I have a little bit of leftovers, so I can already start planning the next trip after Beyond the Gates. But I think it's going to be early 2026. So at the moment, I'm basically saving money for coming trips. And one interview I know what is supposed to happen actually next week is Antichrist Siege Machine, which is supposed to take place next week. And that should be the next interview coming out after the one that is coming out next Friday, which is the Sarcophago thing that we made at Steelfest. And that's the last of the Steelfest interviews, by the way. All right, getting back to your questions and all. Rob Hellfire was commenting, for example, I'm cleaning my house while I'm listening to you, Rauta. That's a great thing. If you get to clean your house while you're listening to this random stream chat, I think you're nailing it. That's how you should do multitask, because you don't really need to see my face here, but if you can hear me talking while you do the normal errands or chores or whatever, I mean, that's perfect. When I'm listening to music, I'm organizing my office space here, taking stuff to attic or whatever. So yeah, and like today, I was just when I was driving to Nightside's keyboard players, home studio. I was just listening to music, but I could have been listening to some kind of podcast too. So yeah, that's a good thing, Rob Hellfire. And some more tagged questions. Northbound is commenting. Road Channel has replaced metal magazines for me. Thank you. That's what I hope to do. Not replace metal magazines, but to give you some kind of similar stuff. That is interviews and reviews, and of course, some what you might consider articles, which are my opinion videos. That's not that you should necessarily agree with me, but to give you some food for thought. So, quality interviews, reviews, and other content of the magazines and their sites have, declined. Yeah, I get it. And thank you so much, Northbound. That's exactly what I hope to do with Rauta. One of the things why I want to do these reviews is that I want to build this kind of library of reviews, because I've done these I don't know what the exact count is because I started doing reviews around 2002 or so, or 2003. So I've been doing reviews more than 20 years now. So I did a lot of them, like thousands, for the site of imperiumi.net, but they're all in Finnish. But I'm compiling this list, this Google Sheet, which some of you have seen. But if you haven't, I will link it here. And this includes, oops, a lot of the reviews I've done, not all of them, but something like, let me see how many reviews there are currently listed. It's a little bit in the making, so if you have questions about it, I will gladly tell you about it. Like this rating thing, which I have started changing, but let's talk about it later. So now I have more than, oh, well, almost 4,000 reviews added to the list with the links. Like there's this artist name, name of the release, label, genre, country, rating, review date, and then the link to Rauta videos in case there is Imperiumi review, that too. And there are lots of missing. I think about half of the reviews are still missing from this file. The point here is this: I want this to make a library that you can go back and see some of the reviews I've done in the past. Of course, the written ones which are in Finnish, you can just easily Google Translate with a copy paste thing. It's not that complicated. And of course, my review videos are right there in case you want to find something. Um, so it's supposed to be a tool for Rauta followers that you can find my reviews. I'm not saying I'm like the best reviewer on earth. Of course I'm not. But the point here is, in case you want to have this kind of a review database, this is supposed to be it. And of course, under the same link I just provided you, you can also see Rauta's interviews. So they're also included under different tab. Excuse me. So I like to see that reviews are helpful tools for people to find about new music. And of course, it's important for bands and labels that they see that their work is being recognized and all. Chaos Goat, thank you so much for your words. You're saying that Rauta has an amazing channel. I tried to improve the channel over the course of years, but in a way, I'm also in a dead end because I think I have pretty much included all the stuff I wanted already. So it's more like I'm trying to make the content more interesting. Why? Because I don't want to do this stuff sloppy ways. So I guess I'm saying here, this is my thank you to the whole metal scene and fellow fans of music. If I wouldn't be a metal fan myself, I wouldn't do it. So this is from fan to other fans. That's pretty much of it. All right, more comments. Harlequin is saying the Saddam regime of metal magazine have fallen, and Rauda state is here to fill the power vacuum. Thank you so much, Harlequin. I do my best in order to hope that. But let me remind you, I'm not here to replace anything. I'm more like adding to it because I think there's still interesting zines and magazines and other YouTube channels and whatever. Some people don't even like any kind of a video format. They want to read the stuff or at most listen to it like podcasts. And I get it. It's video format is not for everybody. But then again, I also feel like there are not enough video interviews with a lot of bands that I have managed to interview, which means like sometimes you get to read certain interviews and it's fine. But when you want to see the face, when you want to see the body language, hear their voice, all that stuff, it's different. And also it's harder to find some of the old zines. So if you're interested in some of the bands, you might not be even to track down a lot of these magazines, say Impiety. I mean, it's obvious that a lot of these underground or extreme metal bands, you're not able to read their interviews in the bigger magazines. So you either go for small print fanzines interviews, or there's nothing. So that's where I hope to feel the vacuum, like Harlequin over here said. Uh, SK, I haven't seen that Third Year put a new album out. I know they are active, but I haven't been really catching up with all the information. And since I don't know, they don't really promote their stuff anymore. They used to send, review albums back in the days, but they haven't been doing it now. So I don't know what's up with that. All right, getting back to the earlier comments. John Blake was been watching Invincible. It's a brutal superhero show. As far as I know, Invincible is related to the Boys superhero show, which is one of my favorites, like top three. Shows. I fucking love it. So I should be watching Invincible at some point. Nevermore Rules is asking if anyone here acquainted with the awesome band Front from Lahti. Well, I happen to know the main guy from Front. He has sent me CDs of the band private, and I've reviewed them too. I actually volunteered that, hey, since they had a little bit of frontman that is vocalist uh, spot in a little bit of like missing, hey, I could do vocals if he wants to. Let's see how it goes. Yarn Harlequin, sorry I forgot to um, answer you, but yeah, the taxi drivers in Thailand charge by the mile, not by the minute. John Blake is asking what are my thoughts on the new James Gunn Superman. First of all, James Gunn has let me down because I think Guardians of the Galaxy movies, they were really mediocre. Superman is super fucking boring. I even couldn't finish when one of the earlier Superman movies was out. One of this great director whose movies I have liked. Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. Not David Fincher, but well, it will come to my mind. But my point here is I couldn't even fucking finish that Superman. Superman is so fucking boring. I hated Superman when I was a kid because I grew up with Spider-Man, X-Men, fucking Fantastic Four and Hulk. Fantastic Four are kind of boring, but Superman is way more boring. I mean, he was like, "Oh, I'm a super handsome guy. I'm as powerful as Hulk, but I can fly like a fucking Iron Man or Thor or whatever. I have these fucking heat ray eyes and X-ray eyes, and I'm just fucking invincible. I'm like a man of steel. I cannot be harmed." So basically, he's like Hulk and Thor and bunch of other crazy super powered dudes combined, and his enemies are the most boring. Oh, I'm Lex Luthor. I have kryptonite. Oh, you have kryptonite. Oh, fucking my penis is shrinking. And he doesn't even wear a fucking mask. And his colleague, the lady who is loving with Superman, can really fucking realize, hey, Clark Kent is the same dude as Superman. What fucking bullshit? That's horrible. So I never liked Superman. Batman, on the other hand, from DC department is pretty cool, but even Batman has really goofy, cringy stuff. So I'm definitely more Marvel guy, or even more so, was more of a Marvel guy before Disney turned, Marvel into two friends and family kind of a bullshit thingy. There are some exceptions like Deadpool movies, Logan movie, and some of the earlier Marvel movies. Like, ironic as it is, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man movies. So a lot of Spider-Man movies are way better than Marvel's own, Marvel movies. So tells you a lot about it. Or also X-Men. They were done by 20th Century Fox before Marvel bought the whole fucking company. So in a way, some of the best Marvel movies are done outside Disney. Go figure. So Ally Diniath is asking, what's my review process like? I'm talking about the ones you like and care to write review any and beforehand warm up or inspiration to get you going. My warm to put it like this, my review process is really straight and simple and all that. So I get his album, like I have next in line next week to do new Skyforger album. So I get a CD or tape or vinyl. I start listening to it. I read about it in case I don't know about the band. I figure out, I make mental notes and physical notes, well, physical digital notes on my computer. I'm like, okay, this snare sound is really fucking annoying. The vocalist is really good with the raspy voice. I make these small notes. Okay, this is the 12th album by the band. This was founded in 1994. This band started changed their style from this to that and blah blah blah. And then I start putting all the facts together, and then I know what I'm going to say about the album. And when I'm doing the review video, I basically just like showing you the album, telling the facts I know, and adding to my own opinions to it. And that's what I try to do with the review process, to give you background information about the band, to explain what the musical style is, what are, in my opinion, the best things on the album, the worst things on the album, and just kind of give you an overall understanding what this album, physical product as it is all about, and then tell you about the music and tell how I feel about it. And then I, of course, include the links so you can start listening to it. So it's kind of a straightforward in a way. I don't want to get stuck into technical details when I'm talking about the music. I want to describe the atmosphere, the vibe. If the Spanish is like reminding me of something else, like, okay, this is kind of like Marduk with the Slavic twist, you know. I'm not talking about the Skyforger here, just to note everybody here. But what I'm saying here is I try to make you understand what this music is all about. But of course, it also requires you to take those facts with you when you go and give this music a spin, I guess. So I want to combine or include both things, facts and opinions, criticism. All right, let's get it on. Um, The final comment is commenting that how many interview from Steelfest 2025 was really cool as fuck, as I purchased a totalitarian black metal CD from Matt Hominin and now support them. Thanks for posting that nice interview. Glad you like it, the final comment. It's my pleasure to do these interviews, obviously. Uh, Eric Sar was writing, I used to consult reviews in magazines when buying CDs was expensive. Been there, done that. And I couldn't sample all of them. In the age of streaming, it's so much easier than I do not check reviews at all. I get it. My point here is everybody has a process in order to select what they stream. I mean, I would definitely need to figure out some kind of a process, what I would be listening to next if I wouldn't get these CDs and vinyl and tapes or whatever. I mean, what would I do? How would I choose what I'm gonna stream? Would it be something that the friend recommended to me? Would it be something that the algorithms from Spotify or YouTube are recommending me? Would I go for metal archives and pick the album of the day or just some album that came out yesterday? Would it be something that the labels are pushing me all the time because that's what they're doing? No, there's no single answer to that, obviously. Because, first of all, let's tackle with the labels. Labels send us musical journalists, if I can call myself that. They send us a lot of emails. Every fucking day, there's a lots of albums. Hey, listen to this new single, listen to this new album, listen to this new promo, check out this cool music video. Nobody has time for it. Just open the Metal Archives main site and check out how many albums are released every fucking day. It could be just like 90 albums a day for a single fucking day, and that's just metal. On top of it, obviously, you have all the other music in the world, be it pop, rock, country, blues, whatever. My point here is nobody has the time. Even if I was listening to music 20 fucking 4 hours a day, how on fucking earth I could listen to, say, that 90 albums a day? So my point here is Everybody needs to have some kind of an idea what they will stream next. And if they say reviews don't matter at all, so how come algorithms then matter? If Spotify, if people feel like Spotify or YouTube or Deezer or Tidal, whatever platform you're using, if you think the algorithms have better understanding what you would be listening to than someone who actually listens to the music and who is a fan of that stuff, I cannot help you. And that's what I find sad. Yeah, they people say, yeah, algorithms are based on data. So if you're like, hey, if you're a fan of Behemoth, you should totally check out these bands. I mean, I get the logic. It's right there. Like, hey, if you like beer, you probably like these beers too. I mean, that's very simple. It's almost like recommending, like, hey, if you like Superman movies, you probably like Batman and Spider Man. I get it. But that also means that they are basically favoring the already known artists, probably even the ones who are paid, to promote the stuff. So when you are going with algorithms, you are being, kind of controlled, or at least very much directed by the labels. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I just find it kind of ironic that people are rather going with whatever the labels tell you to listen to than someone who is a fan. And I'm not talking about myself here. Obviously, if you do have a friend who has more time to listen to music and he's making, or she is making notes and saying like, hey, I remember you, Bob. You liked Slayer and you also liked some old Dark Throne. I got some cool list of albums you should be checking out for these reasons. That's not exactly a review, but it's very much more humane thing than going for algorithms. So if you're not going with the algorithms and you don't have those friends who are recommending you, suggesting you some albums to listen to, what are you going to do if you're not following reviews? Are you going for this random thing like, okay, let me just randomly type something on YouTube and that's going to be an album? I don't know. And first of all, when we are going to the label recommendations, it's not like they're going to recommend you some classic albums. No, they're always promoting some new stuff. I mean, that's their business after all. So if you're going solely by whatever these music platforms do, they will be always talking about the new ones. Nothing wrong with that as such. But once again, I think then you're kind of missing out a lot of things. I feel after thousands and thousands of reviews I've done, I'm always missing out on something. Like today, we were talking about, for example, Dream Theater. I never even listened to a single Dream Theater album, and I don't know what I'm missing out. I'm kind of missing out on certain bands and certain albums because I get a lot of these CDs. And guess what? Most of them are really underground artists. Some have like 500 fans, some have 2,000 fans. I'm talking about social media numbers here, but just bear with me. So a lot of these smaller are marginal underground artists are sending me stuff for review. Why? Because they want to hear some kind of a support, and I get it, and it's fun to do that. But at the same time, it's also very much more important to promote these small, less known bands rather than being just another one who is saying, like, hey, new Behemoth is out, new Metallica is out, new Iron Maiden is out, new, Nightwish is out. It's not like those big bands don't deserve the same thing. But my point here is you will know when a new Metallica album is out. You will know when a new Behemoth is out. You will know when new Cradle of Filth or Nightwish or, I don't know, Megadeth is out. Will you know when the Skyforger is out? Will you know this band or this band or this band or this album? My point here is this is the stuff that people are missing out. Why? Because the algorithms nor labels even might not be talking about. That's why I feel it's important to talk about these underground bands, marginal names, which would go under the radar because they're not, good animals for the labels and the business. So yeah, Eric Sire is saying maybe videos suggesting new releases so people can check them for themselves might be a better path to follow. Maybe that's exactly what I need to do. I don't know. And interviews with bands, uh, few channels covers are great. Yeah, I would love to do interviews more and more, but it takes time and money way much more than the daily stuff. So it's if I could do interview every fucking week or even every fucking day, I would. But it's financially it's impossible. All right, let's move on with the comments. And now the scroll is lagging. All right. SK is mentioning Ferkjord Deed new album. The music was written by someone named Harry Linner. Oh yeah, yeah, I know the guy. I mean, I don't personally know him, but I've been talking to him online. So yeah, it's interesting. He's a long time metalhead. I think he used to do more like zine stuff. Uh, Northbound. What about Brian? Oh, Brian Singer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the guy who did the Superman, and Brian Singer did some good stuff like X-Men movies. Hello, weekend, everyone. Nevermore Rules saying, hey, happy great weekend, everyone. Hell, Rauta and Metal. Thank you for Nevermore Rules. Have a great weekend to you too. Herb Holifer was commenting, you can't get into metal fantasy, but you cannot accept any other works of fiction fantasy. Man, I thought it was bad. What? What are you talking about, Rob? No, I mean, it's just that the whole Superman thing is just it's more childish than a lot of other superhero stuff. I mean, the character itself is not interesting. It's not about realism, but it's just like stupid. And Rob Helver, glad that you liked those unknown bands. So if you're getting out of it something out of my reviews, it's great. And glad you liked the interviews. All right. Getting back to the earlier comments. Hey, I'm soon about to finish my beer, so let's take the rest of this tiramisu imperial stout here. Okay, it's already 1 hour. What else? Harlequin was typing. Personally, I'm not fan. I'm not in the market for new music for new bands. I stick more what I know now. Yeah, that's a very common thing. If I was only listening to my own favorite albums, I would be totally happy badger. But it would be boring if I was just talking about Slayer and Bathory and Death and Bolt Thrower and Morbid Angel for the rest of my life and wouldn't talk about any other, you know, new things. I mean, right? So, yeah. Oh, talking about Abbath live. Yeah, Abbath is a good one. I've seen it like 3 times now, and it's fucking good. Too bad I haven't gotten an interview with him. Sorry, I'm scrolling here. Nevermore Rules is getting a tropical storm. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, Harlequin, it would be fucking sad if metal news were coming from Pitchfork and metal sucks. Unfortunately, because Rauta is obviously not my day job. I mean, I would be fucking broke if it was. Um, I cannot do news here. That would require Rauta to be really a fucking day job. And to be honest, I don't know how fucking interesting it would be if I was, doing news reporting. So yeah. Thank you so much, Ally, for your words related to my reviews and interviews. That's great to hear. They are, I don't know, liked, welcome, or whatever. My point here is not to put myself on a fucking pedestal because I don't really need that. But like I said, I want to be useful with my reviews and interviews, because what would be the point of doing this kind of metal channel if not being kind of useful? I mean, obviously, Rauda, in a way, you could see it just pure dumb entertainment. Sure, in a way, it's definitely more entertainment than an art. But like I said, I want to be also useful. Metal has given me so much through the years, and it's not like it's even, how to say, how to put it, in contradiction with my certain kind of a misanthropic feel about it, mankind, because I can still, talk about the music to people I don't even give a fuck. And I'm not talking about you here, but my point here is, it's more about, trying to help some bands which I think deserve it, even if they might be assholes. But if they're making good music and good art, or even just decent one, I think they kind of need that support, not just from us review dudes, but also from the fans. But if the fans don't even know about the bands, how they can support them? I'll give this good example once again on the top of my review pile. Skyforger, they have been out there for decades now, but they come from a small place, small country known as Latvia. Now, how many people could even pinpoint Latvia on a fucking map? It's easy for us Finns, well, relatively easy. But what about North Americans, South Americans, people in, I don't know, China or Australia? Who don't know where Latvia even is? And if they do they still know Skyforger? Because knowing Latvia as a country is one thing, knowing Skyforger as a band, totally different. Now, I happen to have seen this band play both acoustic, this was 20 plus something year ago, at local medieval days, and also, seeing them perform, metal shows. I've got to interview these nice guys and all that stuff. And while they have been here quite some time, that doesn't mean that you know them. No. Do they really need your support and understanding about these kind of albums? Sure. Fuck yeah. And I wish people, say in the United States, for example, could see these guys live, but it's kind of a doubtful that Skyforger can even tour in the United States, given the expenses, given the visa systems and all that stuff. So my point here is there's a lot of reasons to support these less known bands, and there are plenty. Most metal bands, we have to understand, are underground. And basically, it's only like bands like Metallica and Iron Maiden, which could be considered mainstream. I'm talking about mainstream in the very sense that normal, average people know, be it random people on the street, and you would go, hey, any metal bands? And they would be like, what the fuck? My point here is there are only like few bands that you could say you get to listen to them on sports game. Say you watch NFL or basketball game or whatever. Oh, this is Metallica. It's not like when people, hey, Dimmu Borgir is mainstream band. Nobody fucking outside of metal scene knows what the fuck Dimmu Borgir is, even if it's like top 3 in terms of size in black metal, or Cannibal Corpse, even if they are the biggest death metal band on ever existed. So these are still relatively unknown bands, even if in metal they're relatively known. And when we go for smaller bands than these rather big ones, yeah, there are thousands and thousands. I mean, probably tens of thousands of bands that are totally underground. So, and I mean, in my opinion, they do need and deserve attention from a lot of us because it's harder and harder to you know be seen and heard these days when there are these like over like 200,000 different metal bands all across the globe. It was easier in the 80s. If you just played metal and got an album deal, you probably had some reviews and interviews or other coverage. But even with the 90s and afterwards, it's so much harder. So, yeah, I think reviews are needed because reviews are giving you more information than just news or listings on a fucking distribution site. Ally is mentioning only written media I'm interested in and still subscribe is Bardo. Bardo methodology is easily the best scene I've ever read, and I'm happy that he's getting this website with the stuff. And he's a great writer, great interviewer, so definitely very good stuff. There are others which are good, like Imhotep, and of course this cult metal, cult never dies releases by Dale Patterson and all. But still, Bardo methodology is, in my opinion, definitely the best. And Dia mentioned pretty excited about the coming Steelfest announcement next week. Yeah, there should be about 20 new bands announced for Steelfest 2026. So there is. Thorwind Thorvin is sending big hug. Thank you. Nevermore Rules mentioned Peacemaker. Peacemaker series is, by the way, good. Hello, Jokonson. What's up? Everything cool? SK, if you think superhero movies are boring, see Logan and Deadpool. Uh, Bison Noir is asking, what are you thinking about the new band Witch Club Satan? Have not even heard about it. The name sounds goofy. Is it Yokoson? Is it any good, the concert? Yeah, Rob, I have tried to get a bath for interview 3 times. The first time it was promised to me, but he changed his mind because I was told he had headache. The second time no response. I heard drugs were involved. Third time, also no charm. So no luck. I'm still trying though, but I don't keep my thumbs up. And Damien is asking, do I like any seventh generation guitarists like Richie Blackmore, Uli John Roth, or John McLaughlin? To be honest, I never gave them enough time. So no, I'm not really 70s music guy. Skyforger is a badass name. True that. Check out Skyforger and check my review. Interview with Skyforger. Now I need a new beer. Finally done after what the stream has been running 73 minutes. I'm gonna also blow my nose so because it's kind of sneeze. Be back in a minute or two. All right, people. I gotta admit, even though as misanthrope I can be, it was yesterday when I was in the grocery store shopping some food and shit. I was just thinking, like, I actually hate people so much sometimes. Sometimes I feel like if some random people came to talk to me, I was like, hey, you should fucking die. I hope you fucking die. Even though I don't even know even the people. I don't know where this misanthropy sometimes comes from. Oh, now I need to type message to my friend who made sure I had these mirrors. So hold on. Um, um, so the next one I'm gonna have is Mother of All Beers. As you can see, once again, the beers are provided by Mallasipat, quite a local brewery from city of Naantali, nearby city. And Moab is this crafted with an explosive blend of hops. Moab delivers intense hoppy fruitness, bursting with tropical fruit, citrus, and many notes, mango notes. Originally a collaborative effort in pursuit of exceptional flavor, it detonated on the palate, earning its title as Mother of All Bombs in the craft beer universe. And here it is what it includes. Contains barley, oats, wheat, and that's where it is. Malla Sepat Oy Naantali. Here you can follow them on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and shit like that. So, mother of all beers or bombs, New England Tipa, that is triple IPA, Mosaic Lupamax, Simcoe, Vic Secret. So, quite interesting. 10%. Let's get wasted. So, as I was saying, even though as a misanthropic I can sometimes be, I still feel like I'm at home with my tribe, and my tribe are the people who understand what this metal music is all about. Now, I'm gonna do a little bit of a rant video of a certain festival later on, and it's not gonna be pretty. My point here is it's not like every fucking metal people are united, stemming from the same roots, and everything is beautiful and hugging and kissing. Fuck that shit. No, I'm not hateful necessarily. Usually I'm not. I'm too cool to hate. My point is, I'm too nihilistic even to hate. I'm too much like in a zone, the chill zone. I don't give a fuck. Especially let's look at I got a couple of beers, good friends, and listen to music. I forget all the hate. But sometimes when I go out and I feel like, what is this bullshit? And it can be among my people, the metal people, and I'm like, I'm loathing. I'm not fucking, connected to these people, and it doesn't, have anything to do with their political agenda, right wing, left wing, fuck you wing. It has nothing to do with whatever musical preferences. Oh, you like Slipknot, or you like Dark Throne, or you over there like Blind Guardian, and this next guy behind me is I don't know some douchebag who doesn't know what the fuck he or she likes. My point here is there's this brand of metal people who are not necessarily prosers, but often they are. They might be tryhards. They might be the ones to get try to convince so bad. Hey, I'm metal too. And or more like, hey, I'm ashamed to tell my colleagues and girlfriends and boyfriends that I actually like metal. But when I go to this festival, I can, put some funny clothing on and hey, I'm metal. You know, 777 neighbor of the beast kind of bullshit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, get the fuck out of my face. You're not the kind of a people I resonate with. I'm not the people are contacted. So sometimes when people annoy me, they try so hard, like, hey, I'm one of you. I'm like, fuck you, hail Satan. And if you can cope with that, I don't know, kill yourself. No, I don't actually, tell people to kill themselves, because actually life is so fucking painful sometimes that I think they need to be alive rather than die, because death is probably some kind of a game over salvation. So when they're living, they're probably suffering more. And it's not so much that I want people to suffer. I don't. I mean, I have kids, and saying that I don't really need that people are suffering. Fuck, kids are great. My point here is adults can be just so fucking annoying with their, know it all kind of attitude, or they set the rules because I believe in this God or I have this political view. I get to swing my fingers and point what you need to do, what and not. And I'm like, fuck you. I don't need any of that bullshit. Just I want to do my thing and you can do your own fucking thing, which is not concern of mine. But sometimes these people make it your concern because they're fucking idiots. I know I'm ranting here and I know I sound hateful just because I had one beer, hardly connected to one another. Just came to my head because sometimes my mind is a little bit weird. I don't. All right, the live stream is hopefully this live stream is continuing. Uh, so what I was saying is like I relax with good beer. I relax with good people, and one of the reasons why I like doing these streams is that even though I don't know most of you at all in real life, at least I think a lot of you understand me in a certain ways and all that stuff. So I think we have this tribal thing going on, and that's why I think you people are, certain degree, important. So, oh yeah, thank you, Yokon Son, who is donating 10 channel. I don't know what they're calling in English, but these channel memberships. And so it's good to see some green colors, the membership colors on the channel. Anyway, going back to the comments and questions in the background. So hate Nirvana sounds fun, but nah, I'm not that hateful. I'm just saying sometimes people really fucking annoy me. All right. Northbound, what event was cancelled today due to low ticket sales? That sounds so bad. Black and Death Metal Live cancelled due to low ticket sales. Sucks. Yeah, Rob Hellfire. I think Jim Carrey tried to make people know Cannibal Corpse, but I still don't think that most people have no idea what Cannibal Corpse is. I mean, we also had Anthrax back in the Love and Marriage with Children, great comedy show back in the 80s. But I still don't think that most people understand what the fuck Anthrax is. Oh yeah, Eric Sauer mentioned this great thing. I missed good old days of tape trading when people would dub you bands you had no idea even existed and turned you into a fan. I discovered all my classics this way. That was great time. Though I must say I was never actually tape trading. I mean, few tapes, but mostly we did that with the next phase, which is MP3 trading, like late 90s. I mean, I never liked tapes. I had obviously some tapes in the 80s, but yeah, I didn't really know anything about tape trading culture back then. By the time I learned about tape trading, I was very much in the CD era. And so that's what started us collecting or buying CDs. And of course, we you know uh, dubbed some tapes from friends having CDs and us tapes and all that stuff, but wasn't really tape trading in the sense Eric Sire here means. But I mean, that was the great time. That doesn't matter if you got them, tape trading things, or if you're borrowing CDs from your friends, and that's where you would get to know these new bands. But it was totally different than the modern days when you just click the next song on your favorite streaming platform. And it's not like I dislike streaming. I mean, obviously, I do like them because, for example, today when I was driving almost 1 hour to my friend's place, the home studio, I was listening to music in my car, and I would be able to go on with my Beyond the Gates Festival prepping thing because of that instead of buying, bringing some CDs to my car. I mean, my car doesn't even have a CD player. Neither did the previous car have it. So we're very much in the streaming era. But I mean, in a way, it sucks when everything is so easy with the streaming because people don't have patience. If this song doesn't sound good, you move on to a next band and to a next band and to a next band, or you stick to the classics you already know. So it kind of sucks in that sense. Back in the days, we would be sticking to the very few tapes and CDs we had because we had no money. So we would be investing a lot of our times to understand what the fuck was going on with these bands, how the vocalists could growl so low, or how the guitarists are playing so fast, or whatever the drummer is doing. Nowadays, we don't have the patience because we don't have to. So there's that. Yeah, so that's it. And you're northbound making a point. Small bands don't get attention. So there's that. Yeah, SK, I really hope that CLB Hollinen would come to Steelfest. I was actually recommending CLB Hollinen to the promoter, the boss of Steelfest, but I don't know. Yeah, Erics, I rarely get sick, when I'm traveling. I mean, this isn't bad. Just kind of a normal flu. Just getting a lot of that where that slime live kind of thing out of my nose, but it's not that bad. Kai is saying, "Me too, Jerry. Me too. It comes from being intelligent. I don't know about my intellect a lot, and I try to keep myself in the Zen zone. One of the things what I really like about these Asian religions, or more like philosophical takes, is that they try to go for more like this, like modern days is to put into mindfulness. I'm talking about the kind of a peace of mind. Whether we go to Japan or China or Thailand or whatever, we don't necessarily have to talk about Buddhism or whatever. By the way, beheaded guy is Buddhist. So there's that. And of course, German philosophers from the 1800s, they were very much inspired by Buddhism. We're talking about the Nietzsche and Schopenhauer. My point here is there's a lot of this kind of peace of mind attitude, what I really fucking like, instead of these Abrahamic religions like, hey, love thy neighbors and fucking kill your enemies. Like, why do you have to have enemies in the first place? I would rather see a place without any enemies. It's not like I agree with everybody else. I mean, mostly I fucking don't. I'm too dumb and too stubborn and too rebel in a way to fucking set it up like that. I mean, I don't settle with a lot of people. I just sometimes I'm poisoning my own wells. Let it be put it this way: if I want to date a girl, the smart move would be try to work my way up with the girl, saying nice things. And if she said something stupid or arrogant or something that annoys me, like, oh, yeah, that's pretty interesting take, rather than, oh, fuck you. But, I have to be honest with myself. If I see this, okay, she's good looking, she sounds nice and fun and maybe smart too. Then she starts talking about Jesus fucking Christ. And I'm like, okay, bye. Like, I'd rather give myself a wank than just, you know, sacrifice my philosophy just to making out. So in a way, I feel like I'm too dumb to even succeed. Like I said, I've been saying and applying this philosophy to Rauta as well, saying that if I would be smart person, I would just like fuck all the marginal metal bands, fuck all the underground metal bands because they're not really bringing new views to the fucking channel. I should be just talking about the big names because that's where the people are. I just should be saying like, yeah, Megadeth, so great. Oh, Behemoth. Oh, fucking Dimo Borgir, man. Cradle feels so badass. Slipknot, yeah, bring me the horizon, man. It's great. I'm like, fuck that shit. I mean, if Dimo Borgir does a good album, hey, color me interested. I'm not gonna post that I don't fucking like it because if I do like something, I don't have the like, I cannot say it, it's too big. Fuck that shit. Like a new Behemoth album actually sounded good. So I'm like, hey, I want to review that album. The label promised to send me one, the copy, never did. But however, my point here is, for me, it doesn't matter if a band is small or big, huge even. I mean, if it's interesting to me, I will fucking praise it. But I also feel like I'm kind of hurting the channel in a way because like I said, if I would be smart, I would be talking about the names that trend, the names that people are like, hey, that sounds fantastic because now you're talking about the Lorna Shores and all those metalcore bands. And I could even pretend that I fucking like them. I could drop magnitude of words. I'm like, oh, that's grandiose album. That's so beautiful. That's great and that's heavy. That's brilliant. These guys know how to play. That guy knows how to growl. These guys are fantastic live. I haven't seen them, but I would fucking hate myself for doing that. So instead, I just go for these fucking review piles and do these marginal bands, even though if they sometimes suck. I'm like, yep, whatever. So I am kind of a dumb in that way. So some band wanted to get promoted recently on Rauta, and I was like, I don't know what you really mean by promotion. If we want to see a review copy, just send me one. No, I'm not doing reviews. I'm just promotion. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Reviews are promotion, reviews and interviews mostly. I mean, other than that, we're talking about really advertising. And he started saying he wants to do it old school way from person to person. I'm like, but you're doing this in email. It's not like you're like some guy talking to me in a metal bar, like, hey man, you like that band Slayer? You like that band Catharsis from Germany? If you like them, you should check these out. No, he was sending me email promoting, not for review, not for interview, promoting. And I was like, okay, what the fuck, man? You make no sense. You say you want to do it old school way, but technically speaking, you're approaching me as the new school way. Labels and bands sending me a mass email. I want to talk about my own band. So we started talking about other things. And turns out this band managed to sound like a crazy, uh, you know, um, like flat earth type of guy. He was talking about, hey, I'm not conspiracy guy, but I'm and I don't think COVID existed kind of thing. And I don't think this and that existed. Metal and punk and rock and roll are not rebellious anymore. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? You're talking about here about punk and metal not being rebellious at the same time you're thinking like, there was no real COVID. There was no virus. The corporations are controlling us. I mean, to a certain degree, obviously that is true. We are being controlled in a way. I'm depending here on YouTube, which is but part of bigger company named Alphabet, like size of an Amazon or Microsoft or whatever. And here I'm using Windows system, which is owned by Microsoft, and blah blah blah. My point here is, yeah, obviously we are depending on Amazon's cloud service in order to get things done. We're depending on Microsoft systems or or Google systems or who knows what. But when he started saying like as if this was some global conspiracy, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? And then he was saying like question everything. And I'm like, I am questioning everything. That's nihilism 101. And then he's like, okay, now you're contradicting yourself because what you're saying here is in contradiction with that. You must be a little dumb. And then I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't have time for this bullshit. And that really like lost my any kind of interest in this band. Why so? Because I felt this guy was just fucking conspiracy theorist insane. And I don't even mind that he kind of insulted me, calling me somewhat of an idiot or dumb or stupid or whatever the wording was. But I felt like, why would I do this guy a favor? So instead of promoting his band in some, I don't know, cool, interesting ways, he just started talking about conspiracies and in a way also offending me. Like I would never promote my own band, sending to like link to I don't know a journalist or review guy. Hey, please listen to my band. By the way, you're also an idiot. I felt like saying like, yeah, I'm an idiot because I'm talking to you, but I don't want to do that. I have no intention or need to insult people just because I can. So I felt like, yeah, I am really a fucking idiot because I'm actually having this correspondence. So in the end, I was just like, okay, bye. That was my most neutral way to deal with these people. Then again, recently there was this comment in one of my reaction videos to Epica's music video. Someone just called me fascist because of my haircut. And I felt like, what the fuck, man? I even have a fucking video about how much I'm against these political takes. And I find like things like racism and other such things very fucking stupid. I mean, if you want to hate some people, fucking do it. But hating somebody based on, skin tone, I think it's kind of fucking lame. And I've said this a million times. So when somebody called me a fascist or Nazi or whatever, I'm like, are you fucking stupid or are you? Then I don't want to say it. I just like, okay, whatever. Okay, boomer, go away. So I'm like, I just really should take screen captures of those best comments that try to hurt me or the channel and make a video out of it like some YouTubers do, because that's sometimes great entertainment. I mean, I do get it. I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. I do dumb choices for Rauta, for myself, and I'm too much of a human. I'd rather be a little bit of a more machine in a way. But I'm not offended by that stuff, really, because in the end, it could be just a bot. And in the end, it's also just choice of words. So if somebody wants to go under my skin, they need to do a little bit more than to call you, okay, you fucking Nazi, or you're like a little bit dumb. Because, hey, fuck, I'm everything you want me to be. You want me be to your next right wing partner? Sure dig bud. You want to call me a commie left wing partner? I'm going to be that too. You want me to be gender fluid? I don't know, whatever, ladyboy. Yeah, I'm that too. I'm everything you want it to be because I'm not real. I'm just some Finnish metalhead drinking beer, hopefully fucking some nice lady, during the years, and that's pretty much of it. And then I fucking love Slayer and Battery. So there is that. All right, I was enough randomly talking some shit here. So let's move on with comments. Yes, Harlequin is saying how you should visit any Walmart in America. You would truly understand misanthropy. Yes, I've been in America and seeing those stores, and I know what you mean. Hello, Rotten Punks. Welcome to the stream, by the way. And Kai is very right about this message. People need to struggle in order to develop. Yes, if people don't suffer and struggle and have to fight through certain challenges, then nothing will evolve. Trevor Lambert is like, I heard one time a guy said that gatekeeping is good because it prevents the band's audience from changing too much live, so you're not one day standing by some hipster at shows suddenly. Yeah, I mean, gatekeeping is important, but I'm not sure about the explanation. Rob Heilfire mentioned that we're definitely like-minded. I get you. Thank you, Rob. That's why you are here. That's why I'm here. Um, oh, Northbound. Sorry to hear that the summer massacre with Demilich Blood Jelly Skew Spiritual Holocaust was cancelled. Oh fuck, that sucks, man. But I mean, you're right. When smaller bands don't get the attention, things get cancelled. Yeah, Tia has also experience in trading MP3 files. That's cool. Harlequin, finally you got the Morbid Angel reference. I like making weird band detail reference. One day on the other Discord server, we were talking about some cover songs, and suddenly I was like, because there's just this Finnish saying, let the all the flowers bloom, like basically like hey, whatever is your thing, let it go, and whatever, like kind of like there's time and place for everything. So from this flower comment, I was suddenly like flowers to step on, flowers to burn. And I was like, hey, who's getting the reference? And nobody was. And I was so fucking disappointed. After all, we're talking about the greatest black metal band of all times. And nobody was like, hey, I know the band. And I was like, oh, fuck you. I mean, I didn't say it, but I was thinking definitely like that. And Harlequin is asking, what the fuck is a Lorna Shore, one of the most recognized deathcore band, that really big one, headlining, festivals and all. I mean, the vocalist is really good, but the music is not for me. Rob is saying, being true to yourself saves you from internal bleeding if you faked it for success or views. I was there. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it definitely is better to be honest with yourself, and if you don't manage, somehow succeed, whatever, so what? That's why Rob says that you're honest and true to yourself. That's why he support you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can only be me, and I know I'm kind of an annoying person, obnoxious and shit. But hey, that's the only Jerry from Rauta you can get. If I only know what red pill meant, I could reply something smart to Harlequin. But maybe I will just go with some metal anecdotes instead. I'm just kind of a guy who says like, "Follow me or die." Jerry is just a collective hallucination. Yes, that's correct. I'm actually bot. I'm very, very much like a real AI. I mean, I'm so convincing AI that you actually think I'm a real person. I don't think any of you have seen me in real life. There is nothing new about wokeness as much as people say it's a new thing. There have always been people who like, hey, you just have to understand our times. And then the other parties now, look, we're kind of too stubborn, but things were better in the 50s. Uh, Wokeness is a new term, what has always been there. I mean, don't get into that fucking rabbit hole. It's not that complicated. Sir Schrodinger's fascist. That's a nicely worded thing, what I am, because I'm not fascist. And I don't even support fascism. But that doesn't, stop me enjoying music, whatever they do. But to me, left or right, Fuck off. I have two fingers. I can put both ways. I just don't like politics at all. And to be honest, one of the bands I want to interview, uh, Helsinki Metal Fest, is actually Napalm Death because it's a good band, and you know it inspired me back in the days because they had this shirt, Nazi punks fuck off, which I didn't back in the days was a cover song thing, but I wanted that shirt so bad. Now I don't give a fuck about Nazis. I'm not siding with them, but I mean, I have friends who are anti-Nazis. I have friends who are Nazis. I don't have any problem with that. I can have friends in both ways. Matos is asking me, hey there, what's your stance in the Inquisition controversy? I really like the band. It's my favorite BM band, but I don't know how to feel about the whole situation. My point is, you can still enjoy the music even if you are feeling a little bit uncertain about their, conviction. So, I mean, as a dad, I don't like people who are into child pornography, if you know what I mean. But sorry, that doesn't stop me enjoying music. I am the kind of a guy who is first and foremost separating the art from the artist, and I can explain in these two ways. As a fan of music, yeah, for example, I like Burzum. I don't like all the stuff Wari Vikernes is saying. Secondarily, I can say this as an artist myself, meaning don't judge my own band just because I'm an asshole. I mean, I only represent myself, not the rest of the five guys. So things are more complicated than just that. Harlequin is having a good uh, question here. Where do these bands even come from? Shit like Slaughter to Prevail, Russia, and Lorna Shore, United States, just materialize out of thin air and they're instantly headlining these massive fests. What the fuck is going on? Very easy to, basically tackle both questions. First of all kind of metalcore, deathcore, and other core variants, they are very much the metal of today. Basically, nowadays, new metal. They're kind of a not as bad or problematic as Cannibal Corpse and the like. After all, Cannibal Corpse is dealing with serial killers and misogynia and I don't know, things like that. So people want kind of a easier version of all that. Secondarily, the big labels are pushing that shit. So when you have metalcore and deathcore and all that stuff, which is like heaviest shit on ever earth. I mean, let's be honest about it. Listening to Bring Me the Horizon, horrible band in my opinion, it's easier to like that than say Cannibal Corpse or Suffocation or whatever, but it's still heavier than listening to some Trivium, Bullet for My Valentine kind of a thing. So when people want to be extreme metal, but they're too, young to understand that there is much more brutal stuff than that. And then they are pushed by the big labels. That's where the magic happens. And it's not like those bands started yesterday. To be honest, I don't know when Lorna Shore, for example, was founded by 2009. So 17 years. So it's not like they started yesterday. Uh, my point is, sometimes we tend to forget that some bands are quite, old. Slaughter to Prevail is as new as 2014. I mean, it's only 11 years, really. But then again, if you really think about it, Emperor, the Norwegian black metal legends, they existed only for 10 years. And guess what? They're among the biggest Norwegian black metal acts. So my point here is 10 years might not sound that much given that they're bands like 30 years or 40 years of old, which are not that famous. But nowadays, promotion is totally different thing, and if you tour a lot, you will get a lot of fans too. Sometimes I'm surprised about the review bands. I'm getting like, okay, this is some unknown band because I have never heard of it. Then I click their social media pages like Facebook or whatever. Oh, this has like 100,000 fans. I'm like, what the fuck? This is the first time I even heard about the band. So it's kind of a weird, but that also tells us a lot about the biases. I mean, we might be so stuck up, uh, with the given genre. So if you're like a black metal fan, it might sound weird that some deathcore band is somehow so big, but that's because you're following only the black metal scene, or vice versa. To a metalcore or deathcore fan, it might come to a surprise how big audience bands like Burzum has, because Burzum never tours, never does gigs. And people are like, oh, what is this Burzum band? Why everybody's talking about it? They don't even tour. They don't go to places to play shows. How they are so big. So things can go many ways on the internet. Johansson, I totally agree. I think when you say that, I think woke is too much used these days. It means nothing anymore. Yeah, to be honest, when people say woke this, woke that, I mean, it doesn't really mean much. Sometimes when somebody's like, hey, I treat the fellow ladies and the fellow men with respect. Oh, you're woke. You think when women and men are equal. Like, what the fuck, man? So, yeah, woke doesn't really mean much these days. Harlequin, my kids are too young for Jeff Becerra. I mean, after all, Jeff was, at least what I read, um, borderline, the kind of a barely legal. And what I got the information when I was reading about possessed Jeff thing was like um, he was lured in this kind of thing, the kind of a barely legal thing, if you know what I mean. I don't know what's the story for real, but I mean, think about Billy Idol when he was singing back in the days, Sweet 16. Nowadays, it would sound like a horrible idea to do a hit song, Sweet 16. Or, for that matter, Google Scorpions. Yes, I'm talking about the German band. The Scorpions album cover, Virgin Killer. Google the original artwork. And it's totally in the Inquisition sense. Yeah, Harlequin, you're totally right. These women don't belong to the metal scene. That's a good example of this kind of bullshit. And when people are like, hey, what about Asagram or Demonzy or Astarte with the black metal women in bands? Oh, you're so fucking woke. Yeah, but I mean, Harlequin, I mean, Scorpions is a fucking big rock band, maybe the biggest from Germany of all times. And that album cover, I mean, that was real deal. So you can put it in your safe search mode if you're too scared about browsing history. Put it in the same safe search private window where you do your, adult entertainment wanks. No, Rob Hellfire, I'm not the leftist. To be honest, I don't give a fuck about left or right. I'm just saying that all these left and right bullshit, they are both equally uninteresting. So when people try to put, I mean, I've been in a situation when neo Nazis call me, like a left liberal or leftard, And then the people on the left called me Nazi fascist. And I'm like, how the fuck I am supposed to be in, both camps while not being exactly neither. So it's very fucking weird. Ben and G is asking, how do you feel about haggis? I don't know haggis. And their agenda rid of gore grind and brutal death metal of misogyny. First of all, I don't think there is any kind of a real misogyny problem in the gore grind or brutal death metal. And secondarily, people who try to get that brutality, death, torture, and all those nasty topics out of death metal don't fucking belong into death metal. I mean, these people are so crazy. It's almost like, you know, it makes me laugh. It's almost like, hey, we want to have whiskey without alcohol. If you don't like these topics, don't go near it. I mean, how would you call it brutal death metal anymore when it's not really brutal? Matos is asking about new news about Mara album or Berlzer album. Um, while I have been reading some of the Mara, and I've met the Builder guys. I don't know if there's new stuff. I think the bands don't really advertise it. Yes, Rob Helvard, that's what I mean. Women and men are supposed to be, treated equally. They're not equal physically or in so many other ways. Um, like there's this study that, for example, women can take more pain than guys, and women are probably a little bit more emotional than guys. Guys tend to be more calculative or logical, but I mean, I don't know. But I wouldn't put them in the same, sports class. Putting into female and male swimmers or weightlifters in the same department, I would be that would be kind of a fucking unfair if you ask me. Hello, Jack. Here we from Arizona, and Rob Helfer is asking, "How would you know what you are when you're not political?" Yeah, I mean, could it be that life is outside politics? Sometimes I want to say that beer is my favorite politics, or maybe sex. To be honest, Johansson, I don't remember how Taken by Force is or the cover. I don't remember. Well, GamerWorld.net has an interesting take. I don't mind people who are moderate or in the middle, but many people view fence sitting as opportunistic or capitalistic. In a way, I'm very capitalistic because thing with capitalistic and biological is very similar. It takes the best way to survive. That's how biology works. You have, say, tail you don't use. You drop the tail on the long run. Think about human body. We still have the fucking bone left over from the days we were really like just monkeys. In Finnish, that is called the tailbone. So We actually have the tail left over in our bodies. I mean, skeleton, but that doesn't mean we have a tail. But biology is like that. Yeah, I mean, if we would benefit of having second thumb on the other side of our palm in the hand, we would fucking do. So in that sense, capitalism works the same way. Like if something doesn't work, you get rid of it. If something works, you put extra effort into that. We were actually talking about with one of the long timer veterans who's like 10 years older than me, the boss of Imperium.net, and has worked with a lot of bigger labels during his metal careers and doing merchandise with big bands and all that stuff. And I was asking basically about certain festivals, like how they can, headline bands like Slaughter to Prevail when they're known for like being pro Putin, pro Russia, and all that stuff, being Russian bands and all, and also having neo-Nazi pictures in the past. And he explained it to me well. He said, like, when this kind of investment company buys a corporation who is, organizing fests, and in this case, metal fests, they don't give a shit whether it's about neo Nazis or leftists or whoever. They're just, making the fucking money. They're making the green stuff. So my point here is, in a way, capitalist approach is very, very nihilistic because they don't give a fuck about what's right and what is wrong. Because for them, the only right thing is to do more money, to do profit, and the only wrong thing is to do, well, not profit. So biology is in the same, very, very much the same thing. I mean, if you go to a lion and you ask, hey, do you think it's a very woke thing to do and eat this fucking other animal? I mean, is that left or right? The lion is like, fuck you, I'm gonna eat you too. Go ask a tiger if this tiger is left or right. Go ask this antelope, hey, are you left or right? Are you woke? Or are you pro gender fluid or are against it? The antelope is like, hey, I just want to fucking live and survive and, have kids, humans make it too complicated. So I'm saying, when people say everything is political, and I'm like, no, ask the ants, ask the owls, ask the fucking snakes and small mice. Are you political? What's your stand? Are you anti-Trump or pro Elon Musk? What the fuck are you? And the mice is like, hey, I'm just trying to, support my family here. I hope that the fucking eagle in the sky is not eating all of us, So fuck you. Go pay taxes, you motherfucker. So, like Rob Hellfire says, what is the chaos for the fly is the nature for the cat. So, that's how it is. The fly in the web is the food for the fucking spider. The spider is mealtime, baby. Whereas the fly is like, oh, fuck you, not again. So when people are saying everything is political, I'm like, how political is my erected dick? So go swallow and suck on the cum. So, like Rob Helfer said, it's okay. I don't come here for politics. I come here for metal. Checker is asking how I'm doing. I'm doing fine. Too much flu, but I got the beer and I got a Rauta audience, so everything is good. Yeah, Ben NG is right when he said, I think the algorithm has people trained to fit into one of the two camps and fight amongst each other. Anytime you express an opinion, some try to put you out in the political box. Yes, because that makes the kind of a storm going on. You get the hurricane in your fucking glass happening, and people are fighting, and that benefits the heated political discussion benefits the social media platform. Okay, Rob Helver is saying way back when I tried talking to you about political topics, but as you weren't into it, I understood it's not your thing. You came back with leftist talking points, so I made the conclusion. I don't give a fuck. Some of my thoughts are probably leftist. Some of my things are probably right wing. But for example, in Finnish system, when you go too much in the left, you're basically a communist. When you get too much in the right, when then people say you're a Nazi. But when you really think about the big scale, if you go too far in the right, okay, you play the Adolf Hitler card. If you go too much on the left, and on the other hand, yeah, people are like, okay, you're Stalin. And what Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler had in common, they had their own people killed. So fascist Germany or communistic, Russia or well, whatever it was, same result. And I'm like, I'm neither party. But in Finland, we don't have just left and right. We have more like four field system. So you have like this conservative thing here up, and you have the liberal thing here, and then you have right wing and left wing. So right, okay. So it's more complicated than just left and right. It's more like you know four fields, and in the central is something that people are like sitting on the fence. I'm definitely more liberal because conservative people are mostly Christians, Muslims, and other who are like abortion is murder kind of a thing. When it comes to left and right, nah, I'm probably quite much in the middle. And it's not like I'm fence sitting. I just don't like either side. And the people in the central, I don't really agree with them either. Like I said, I'm too much of a misanthrope to just give a fuck about these people. And it gets more complicated. A certain party can be like, "Hey, we need to take care of the elders." Some are like, "Oh no, we need to take care of the kids." Some are like, "Oh, we need to take care about white people." Some people, "Oh, it doesn't matter what color you are. We need to take care of all the people." And I'm like, "No, people, fuck you. If you cannot work, cooperate. Fuck you. I don't want to be in any of your parties. Just kill me and get me out of the game. I'm not going to give you my votes. I haven't been voting for any kind of a party for like 30 years. So I'm that political. I don't even fucking vote. I'm George Carlin kind of a type. And if you don't know my George Carlin kind of a type, you can watch George Carlin about voting YouTube. All right, Jokonson, see you at Beyond the Gates in Bergen. Bye. Alexander is asking, do I know about the German band Bethlehem? Yes, I remember a couple of their albums back in the days, like Dark Metal and Dicties to Nekare. I remember they made some great vocals back in the days. But because I haven't been speaking about them on the channel, is they haven't been really releasing new music as much as I know. So it hasn't been really the topic of the day. Smek McGrath is mentioning, you said you're interested in politics, but all you talk about is politics because people talk to me about politics. Obviously, I'm gonna respond. After all, this video is about questions and answers and beers. So if you would ask me about pornography, I would definitely talk to you about pornography. If you'd ask me about sports cars, I would talk to you about sports cars. So there's your tap. Take your that. I mean, before we started talking about politics, we were talking about beers and tits and you know Thailand. So there is that. You people get to choose what we're talking about here. Pizza party. I actually had pizza today. I don't think pro choice on abortion has anything to do with left wing. I think it's more about conservatives versus liberals, at least in Finland. But other than that, I really agree with Blood Bank to Life said. And if I will be put on a no fly list, well, shame on me. Ben NG is asking, do I watch any TV series regularly? Yes, all the time. I recently, when I was in Thailand, I, finished Mythic Quests season 4. Fantastic. And I guess, I hope I to do the reaction video to their trailer and review the show. And I also finished Severance season 2, which was a disappointment. The first one was better, and now I'm watching a show called Stick on Apple TV. So yes, I mostly all every day I watch some TV series. I try to have my flow going on, so I have time to watch TV series and play video games. But lately, I haven't had the time to play. So now we're 2 hours in, and it's already 1 o'clock now. Last beer, and then I really need to go to bed. 2 minutes break. I need a glass of water and flush this baby, and then final questions and more beer. And the last beer of today's stream is Gween's Sour Fruited Sour. And as you can see, this is raspberry, blueberry, vanilla, and mixed fermentation. Only 5%. Once again, Malla Sepat, local brewer from Naantali, Finland. And on the other side, you can read some of the stuff in case the Zoom wants to work. So, store cold, drink fresh. We wanted to test making a gluten-free sour and recreated one of our earliest fruited sours using luxurious combination of raspberry, blueberry, and vanilla. I know this beer, this is great. Overcharged with berries, vegan, gluten-free, and fit for a queen like me. Time for Rauta's third encounter, and I'm gonna mention to my friends. Now, already, Azagdol is saying, I prefer women's legs and high heels. We have a shoe fetish guy here. And Harlequin is asking, curious if Finland has any really good pizza joints. No, I think the best pizza joints we have here are individual ones, not so much like, you know, big chains and all that stuff. As you can see, this sour beer is very, very red, almost looks like a wine, but with a lot of foam. Really great stuff. Uh, Koti pizza is actually pretty good pizza. I gotta agree with Kai. So, kind of a big franchise corporation, but yeah, Koti pizza is good. So I'll correct myself. Kai is correct here. Harlequin is saying I'm torn between laziness and desire for beer. That's what I am too. As Zach thought, when will Nightshade take the stage again. I think the next Nightside show is booked for early 2026. I will notify when I can. It's been decided. It's not out there already. I mean, the gig, but it will be announced, I think, in August or September. We'll let you know once we can announce new Nightshade shows. But currently, we're working the songs for album number 3. Um, Beherit or Tireheb, glad you like the thumbnail. As I thought, yes, we do have Nightshade shirts available. We have the ones with the lion's image made by all talented guy from Antti, who has and this Helgorth design, where these the lions are attacking a Christian person. That was limited to our lions demo, and then we also have these logo shirts. So Nightshade shirts are available. Harlequin is asking, how the fuck do you pronounce Sistala? What's Sistala? I don't know what it should be. Yeah, and we do have Nightshade t-shirts. I would show you, but I don't have the shirts here with me. They're our bass player is our t-shirt storage unit, but we do have yeah, t-shirts. I try to take a photo the next time. Usually we sell our shirts only our shows, but we do have logo shirts and those lion shirts. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Harlequin, a blue raspberry apple cider sounds fantastic. And Rob Halfar is having a 420 join. Man, Rob, if I could teleport to you or some hot lady, naked body, ready to have sex with me, I would still have a hard choice to make. Whether I would have a joint with you in Canada or be with the lady, I probably would join you for a joint. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's good point. Harlequin, you mean Cisalta. Um, if you mean this word here, Cisalta, it really means contains. So basically, the ingredients, as you can see here, barley, oats, wheat, raspberry, blueberry, vanilla. This is really good beer. As I thought, if you want to order a shirt, I think the smartest one would be email me. I will give my own address. Um, I will let you know about the sizes. The price is 20 euros plus shipping. Gamerworld.net asked me, how do I feel about seafood? No, I'm not a big seafood fan, but I eat it every now and then. For example, in Thailand, there are lots of squids, octopus, variety of different fish, and I mean it's healthy. It's healthy to eat all the white fish and all, but I don't know, for some reason I just don't enjoy the squids and octopus and fish in general as much as I enjoy, say, eating chicken, for example. But I mean, why not? When you do it to some good food, why not? We had some hot pot in Thailand for some squid and shit. Um, Obviously, I wanted to taste different kind of foods when I was traveling, So variety of seafood, be it like seafood paella or some Asian food, like in this smaller island in Thailand. You could get like fresh crab meat and squid, octopus, variety of white fish. Why not? I had some really good seafood in Iceland too. So usually, if I and when I was in, by the way, San Diego, I had some shark meat, which was good. The big steaks, tuna steaks, really good. So something like that. No, Harlequin, it's not like 50 euros. Not gonna cost that much. I think I would imagine sending a shirt to most countries would be some 20, 10 to 15 euros. So 20 plus, whatever it is, depending where you are. So I don't know. Harlequin, I get it. Those A's with dots. Complicated. As I thought, yeah, Finnish post rates are high, and I was told that in Belgium it's even higher. Um, Gross breaker. If I would be watching the stream with the Aussie Black Sabbath, I wouldn't be doing the stream. I realized only too late that we're overlapping with that. I think it's great that people get to see the Aussie's last shows. I mean, it's sad that it will be his last or whatever, but he's old. He's suffering, from whatever Alzheimer it is. So I think it's great if he can do it finally. What I was reading on the Finnish Discord server I'm on, people were saying that the sound and picture quality is good, but I don't have the stream myself, so I don't know. Yeah, Harlequin, I think you should totally come to Steelfest for some show, and I could bring them nightside merchandise there to you, like SK from the stream earlier today. He got the shirt from Steelfest. Yeah, and shark steak. It was pretty nice to taste. Talking about some weird food I've tasted, I think two of my top two most unusual food was in Vietnam because I had frog meat, which had a lot of bones, so it was kind of a pain in the ass to eat. And another one was this snake soup. To be honest, I couldn't have noticed it was anything out of ordinary because the soup itself wasn't like, wow, it's different, but it had pieces of snake s- swimming in the soup. So I had this image. I still have it somewhere in my Facebook photo gallery, that I had this picture when I was taking a selfie, because I had this spoon and there was a snake's head in my spoon. I was like, I'm gonna take this photo. I'm trying to eat a snake. So yeah, I have this habit of trying weird food. Um, I didn't see snake whiskey in Thailand. Yeah, I think Northern Heritage rates are not too bad. Yeah, I get it. Some people want those snaky bottles just for show. I mean, why not? But hey, I'd rather drink it. You can save the bottle. Damn, this beer is so good. Oh, I'm getting tired. Whatever happened to baptism? Now, I actually mentioned that in my baptism retrospective video briefly, but I can recap is that life. Um, if I understood correctly, the main man of baptism, uh, he kind of inherited, if I could correctly, a company that mostly start taking his time, and of course he has a family too. So family life, but I don't know if that's all the story because of course the band had more members, and some of the shared members have other bands too, so maybe that affected. But I was asking Lord Sargophagian when I was doing the baptism retrospective video about a year ago. So I emailed him because he's an old friend of mine, and I haven't been in touch. I mean, last time I met actually his wife or fiance, whatever it is, if, officially, and it was weird to talk about this guy from baptism, this friend, without him answering me my questions. But I guess I can only say his life got into the way of doing things, like in so many other bands. I mean, we have to understand that when you're not the size of say Marduk or Satyricon or I don't know Behemoth, you have to have a day job, and sometimes you have to decide like whether you're gonna focus on your day job, your work, and shit like that, versus you know putting more effort into your band, which doesn't help you to pay the bills. So I guess that's what happened. Day jobs and your family life and doing music and touring, you just don't have it all within your 24 hours day. Thanks, Eric Sire, for the stream, and glad that you were here with me. And write me someday. I want to hear what are your current projects. Um, this is hard question. Grossbreaker is asking, what are my favorite top five Finnish black metal bands before the year 2000? Now, if I exclude my own bands from before 2000s, because I had two, um, Satanic War Master, because it barely started before 2000s, that would be one. Um, I don't know if I can be honest and say Archgoat, because Archgoat basically didn't have anything much else but 7-inch and a demo. before 2000s. I mean, all the albums are 2000 plus. Um, Horna wasn't that good before 2000s. Um, Behexen was not doing much before 2000s. Um, it's fucking hard, man. Um, because when I did my, and I'm still doing it, my original black metal from Finland series, most of the Finnish black metal bands started doing albums around 2000, 2001, 2002. So when we're talking about bands before 2000, and if we're talking about bands that were doing albums, there aren't not too many. I mean, obviously you had Beherit and you had Imperial Nazarene, you had Barathrum, bands like that, but most of the Finnish bands didn't have an album out before 2000s. It's very, very few that actually did that. So I'm thinking, like for example, Satan and Warmaster didn't have albums before 2000s. And like I said, I don't think Horna or you know any of those older bands, they were not that great back in the days. I guess I would have to say Baratrum because Baratrum did Legions of Perkele already in the 90s. And that was a powerful band and powerful album back in the days. Maybe Impel Nazarene because they were already forced to be reckoned with already in the 90s. But I mean, I honestly wasn't like a Barry fan in the 90s because I think Engram, which is 2000, whatever, 8, 10, whatever. I mean, that's my favorite Barry album. And so that wasn't in the 90s. So what I'm thinking about the bands from the 90s being Finnish and and being good, they were not too many. Well, Diaboli, that would be mentioned from the 90s because they early Diaboli stuff. I mentioned this in my episodes, in the Finnish black metal show or series. So Diaboli would be in this top 5 from before 2000 black metal. So I guess Baratrum, Imbel Nazarene, Diaboli. But what else? Well, early Oceans is I mean Oceans in general is quite good, and they had stuff pretty early on. But I don't know, top 5 before 2000s would be hard because, like I said, Horna and Azaghal wasn't that great. Um, really need to think about 5 bands before 2000s. Hard, that's hard. Warlock was good, but I mean, even that wasn't that active. I don't know. I can ask about Warlock, later on. I don't know what he's up to. I haven't been talking to him since Steelfest 2024, I think. So I don't know what's going on with the Warlock camp at the moment. And yeah, Harlequin, obviously that Black Sabbath stream is pay per view. That's wasn't 27 euros or something. And people were saying it's not that bad pricing. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty big for streaming. But I mean, who am to say? I mean, think about UFC. I haven't caught up with the new Vendor album. Any first Horna is, I wouldn't call it boring, but I mean, the first half is better and then it gets kind of boring. Clandestine Blaze, yeah, came in 99, but um, is it really that good that based on before 2000s, I would put me in my top five? I don't know. I mean, the first album is pretty good, but I'm not sure. I never like Enoch and Crescent too much. I mean, the guys are nice and cool, but the band was musically not too much for me. 39 euro for the stream. Okay, I was reading about 27. No, I never liked Thai Serpent too much. When I was revisiting Thai Serpent for my original Finnish black metal series, uh, it was even softer than what I was thinking. I mean, I remember when the debut album got like 5 stars in the local metal rock magazine in Finland, and then we were like, okay, we gotta check this out. This Forest of Witchery, it just got like 5 stars out of 5. We gotta check it out, and I'm like, okay, it's actually good. Maybe 4 stars, but definitely not 5. Back in the days, this was. So now that I was listening to it a few months ago for this my Finnish black metal series, I was like, man, I didn't even remember that this was slow paced, so soft, and kind of like almost like anti what I felt like what is important for me in black metal, like being dark, evil, violent, death like. So for me, this early Thigh Serpent is almost like kind of a gothic metal in a way. Basically, if you would add some, female vocals to it, you would say, yeah, it's more like gothic metal, not really black metal. It's not like it's bad, but it's not what I'm looking for, in black metal. Pretty much the same thing that when I want death metal, I want brutality, I want violence, I want aggression, I want heaviness. I'm not talking about in flames when I'm talking about death metal. So Thigh Serpent is in the very same place than say early Dimmu Borgir. Kind of beautiful, melodic, not that dark, not hateful, not raw. And I'm like, but I want to be in that place. I want to go into this cavern. I want to go to a place where I feel I'm like I'm scared. And Thigh Serpent is like the opposite of me being scared. It's almost like you could like grab your girlfriend's hand, walk hand in hand and like, I love you, honey, kind of stuff. I don't want my black metal to sound like you would be like hugging to it. But Thigh Serpent is exactly that. So yeah, no, definitely not my thing of a black metal band. Anyway, it's 22 in the night. So I'm gonna be in the bed by 2 o'clock. So let's start making final uh, questions. Thigh Serpent. Yeah, I guess what you said about that. So it's not like I dislike the band, but I'm saying Thigh Serpent is more like entry level black metal. TC has a good question. Do I like any Finnish death metal like Sentenced, Amorphis, Abhorrence, Demigod? Yeah, I have a story to tell. This is something that I have told many times to Rauta audience. I actually, once upon a time, this was maybe early 1995, I actually auditioned to new Demigod vocalist. Obviously, I didn't get the place, but I was living in the same city, so I was like, "What the fuck? We already had a death metal band in 1994." That was my first band, by the way. So called Cyric, named after God of Death, in a Forgotten Realms thing. So we had this death metal band, Cyric. So I figured out since I've been singing in a death metal band for a while, only a few months, but still. And Demigod didn't have a vocalist back then, so I figured out we had mutual friends and shit. I mean, I knew some of the Demigod guys. I was figuring out there's nothing I could lose. I didn't even know about their legendary status back in the days. So I figured out I could go an audition for Demigod. I didn't get the place. I was way too inexperienced and all that stuff. And now in hindsight, I totally understand it. So that was my first experience with Demigod. Now, back in those days, Amorphis was already big because Tales from the Thousand Lakes was, making waves with its rather unconventional uh, take on the death metal. You had like these melodies and the electronic parts and even some poppy tunes after the debut album, Carol and Istmush, which is, in my opinion, a better album by Amorphis. But Amorphis lost its death metal after two albums, so in hindsight feels like, oh, they must be posers, but no, really. I mean, like, Abhorrence became Amorphis, and after a couple of albums they figured out they need to mature. Same as Xysma from my own city, started as death metal band, became a rock band. Sentenced, on the other hand, took a longer turn, but I mean, after two albums, Sentenced start making more rocking stuff, more gothic stuff. Amok is still my favorite. I mean, I did already sentenced retrospective videos. I'm not going to recap it here. My point here is a lot of these old school Finnish death metal bands, they kind of um, changed their style from death metal to something different very, very quickly. Not as quickly as how quickly Norwegian death metal bands abandoned death metal for black metal. But I mean, a lot of Finnish death metal bands ceased to exist after a few demos or an album or two. A lot of Finnish death metal bands only existed through the demo phase, and then they call it quits. Uh, it's very easy to listen to bands like Belial from Finland. They did a little bit of death metal and then they moved on. Or Abhorrence and then Amorphis, Sentenced, Obfuscation, things like that. So, in my opinion, Finnish death metal didn't really bloom in the 90s. For example, Amorphis was pretty good, but they quit before they would really have nailed it. Same thing for Sentenced. I think the first album is better than the second one, but when they went for Amok, which isn't death metal at all anymore, I think that's better, but it's not death metal. So for me, the best death metal from Finland are definitely newer school, like bands like Torture Killer and Morbid Vomit. So yeah, I don't think the Finnish death metal thing really got into bloom in the 90s. Sorry, Isaac, though, the short answer to your question is we lose the tarot, but what is the question? Matos is asking favorite album of 2025 so far. To be honest, there are no absolute favorites so far. So I've been trying to keep track of albums that are great so far, and I have like this list for four albums for this year are like Leak from Sweden doing Necro, retro death metal. That's good, but nothing outstanding. Norhem from Finland doing Aurinko Eteras, kind of a soft and melodic black metal. Not outstanding, but good. And the Star, Catharsis Till Dawn. Surprisingly, interesting black metal, but not outstanding still. And then the Chamberlain, which has similar, overlapping members with Norham, shared members. their Draconian Magic, which is also very melodic, kind of a early Dimmu Borgirian like with the keyboards and melodies. So these are the only albums from year 2025 which I've added to my list, and I don't add any of the albums to this list unless they are less than 8 out of 10. So consider this, we're now already in July and I have 4 albums in that list. That's quite of pathetic, to be honest. And Rob Hellfire mentioned Sleep Token. To be honest, I feel like Sleep Token is some kind of a record label thing, but I haven't been listening to it. But everything I get, the information about it, feels like okay, they wanted to make a new Ghost. Yeah, I dig that. I get it that Demigod never made um, proper successor to the debut album. And yes, Demilich is from Finland too. They actually played some gig not too far, not too long time ago. Guy, I actually haven't heard Aberration's new album. I mean, I think I heard it once, but I didn't go for another round. I mean, it didn't make that big of a wave. And to be honest, I think what's so great about the Elders of Madness is that it's so thrashy. When death metal bands forget thrashiness in death metal, they're not gonna be that great. Rob Hellfire, I have actually reviewed a couple of Burden of Ymir albums, by the way. And Havokruno is quite good, but I'm still kind of upset what they did to Steelfest. And yeah, Rippikoulu is recognized as one of the death metal bands, but I never actually listened to it then. Rob Hellfire, I'm actually surprised. The Dimble Nazarene are your favorite Finnish black metal band. Demilich is something that I never actually properly listened to, so I don't have an opinion about it. About Offermod, I don't know about their plans. Sorry. Um, I have actually reviewed some Sarastus stuff on the channel, so it's pretty good of a band, but I haven't heard their new album yet. I noticed that there was a promo out. Yes, Ufermod has a new vocalist, that's true. I don't know that if Circle of Ouroboros and Cosmic Church has connection. But then again, the Finnish scene is so small, so might have, but I don't think they have shared members. Alexi Hevari is asking, what about Finnish melodic death metal bands? Melodic death metal was not much of my thing, really. I don't think I have actually never heard like listened to Demilich properly. Yeah, Vermilia. I think the first album was good, but after that, it kind of went downhill. I wanted, you know, there was something missing from Vermilia's album. I did reaction video to Vermilia's new single from the new album, and I mean, it sounded like okay, but for me, it was too much far away from the black metal thing. Yeah, Harlequin, I know. I should, and I um, Hunty Booman is kind of a real life friend of mine. Well, acquaintance maybe more than a friend, but for some reason, I never heard Demilich back in the days, and nowadays I haven't really been bothered. But okay, Rob. All right, cool. Just remember tag Rauta if you want to make sure I see. Artemisia did only one album, so much more like a shooting star kind of thing. Yes, Panzerfaust is, in my opinion, one of the best black metal albums of all time. 9.5 out of 10. It's my third favorite Dark Throne album. Uh, it's better than most black metal albums by any bands ever. I have heard Panzerfaust the band, and it's not that great. I mean, not bad, but as as much as I can remember, not that great. I don't remember if I actually, because I think I actually reviewed some of the stuff. Yeah, I have reviewed Panzerfaust, The Sons of Perdition, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and to be honest, they were not that great. I haven't heard the later albums, so I don't know if they're better. But Panzerfaust, you know, the Chapter 1 and 2, just kind of a basic black metal as far as I can remember. Nothing out of wow. And yeah, I'm talking about the Canadian Panzerfaust. Gyrolamp, there were at least three different single songs from the new Behemoth album. The title track, "The Shit of God," was like the probably the worst track of the whole album. I mean, I already listened to the album in April, and I remember I actually liked it more than any of Behemoth released in Satanist. So yeah, I liked it, but the title track, yeah, very mid. Grossbreaker is asking my opinion about Watain. In my opinion, Watain has clearly evolved during the years. First, early Watain albums are kind of a B class black metal. And then, if I remember correctly, Wild Hunt was where the band kind of dipped. They went south. Their worst album. After that, with the Wolf Trident Eclipse and all that stuff, it got better. And the latest What Time album, which I have also reviewed on the channel, is their best so far. So, in my opinion, What Time, both live as well as albums, they have matured nicely. Watan has been really powerful live, to be honest. And this is something I mentioned in my Inferno festival recap, where I got to see them as well as Beyond the Gates. Watan was truly phenomenal, in my opinion, live past couple of times. But, also the latest album, so far the best. But I would call Watan like best black metal bands of all times. I think that's more like a new school approach. Dixon has been asking, "Are you playing any new games?" To be honest, for the past 5 weeks, I haven't been playing anything because I was traveling for almost 4 weeks, and since I got back to Finland a few days ago, I haven't had the energy to play anything because I had this flu. But I'm definitely trying to continue Assassin's Creed Shadows as I get better. Yeah, Rob Hellfire. I mean, it's not like I listen to black metal only. Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Innate, some of the best dark ambient acts ever. So, yeah, I definitely listen to way much more than just black metal. Yeah, Harlequin definitely giving you Behemoth a go. I'm not gonna say it's phenomenal, but it's solid. Yes, Addicted. I write the lyrics for Death from the North. What do you think about them? Good or bad? Yeah, Rob Hellfire. When you get the chance to see Archcoat, go see them. They're good live. Magic 69. I don't remember listening to anything more than two first Panther first albums. Or you mean Dark Throne or the Canadian band? Alexei Evar is asking me what I think about the Ukrainian black metal bands like Kors, Kroda, Nocturnal Mortem, Hate Forest, Call of Hippus. For example, I haven't heard Chorus or Call of Hippus. Can't comment them. Crota is a little bit hit and miss for me. Some stuff is better. Sometimes stuff is very mid. Hate Forest has always been on the verge of almost being good. Say same thing as the same guys pre-Cambrian. Drudky is also a little bit hit and miss for me. Some stuff is better. Sometimes it's just too non-catchy atmospheric black metal. um, Grave Circles from Ukraine, Tragic as it is a little bit the same. Not exactly good, but there's some good ideas with that. So I guess I wouldn't really consider myself a fan of Ukrainian black metal bands in general. And Nocturnal Mortem, the early albums, some of them are really like mid, but I remember that Goat Horns was pretty decent. But then again, I guess the Sound of Steel or whatever the translated title is, it's actually good. So I don't know. Ukrainian black metal tends to be mostly, for me anyway, a little bit the B side, the B glass stuff. Yeah, Trevor Lamb. I know. Eric of Watine is a very, very talented guy, very dedicated. And what made me a little bit more a Watine fan is my interview with him. The meeting with Eric was like, wow, I really respect this guy, and he doesn't hold back his opinions. So I think that made Watine a little bit better for me anyway. When I had this long interview with him. Harlequin, I've been reading about this. Ready or Not sounds like a fascinating game, much like SWAT games back in the days. That can dance. I've only heard a little bit of this and that back in the days. Some ethnic or world music, we call it nowadays, is pretty good. But I think Lisa Gerard is mostly known to me through Gladiator soundtrack. As funny as it may sound. Yeah, Roba. Atrium Culture is good, especially the first album is really good. Kamar Height I haven't heard, but Atrium Culture I remember really liking the two first albums back in the days. Thank you, Addicted. I For me, writing lyrics are very important, and for me, they have to make sense. There are way too many bands which have just lyrics with edgy wordplay, or then they're too artistically like you're like, what the fuck I'm actually reading here? What the band is trying to say? So for me, the lyrics have to make sense, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong, you can't be very poetic and not say much and let the imagination take its tour. But for me, lyrics have to be so much that you can actually make sense what they're trying to say. And that's what I think is the hard part in writing lyrics, that you can make sense and you can still fit them in a song. Um, so as much as I can say about my own stuff is that uh, I've obviously evolved as a lyricist. Um, so I think my lyrics are better in Death from the North and previous works by Annihilators or Nightside, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. I think I was able to express myself in Death from the North lyrics in such a way that certain themes are very dark, like for example, There Won't Be Another Dawn is very very much me trying to express what happens when the apocalypse, the end of the world happens. As much as I can see, they're very very dark, very negative lyrics, and that's just saying we're all gonna die and there is no hope. I wanted to make those lyrics very hopeless. Then again, there are lyrics like Lions, which are very much like me getting the idea that Christians and other beasts, Christians are attacked by lions and other beasts. So anti Christianity and anti religious in sense are very, very important, you know. As a black metal band, I feel like we deal with attacking religions. So if you like lions, that's great because I really really love writing that stuff because it's so hateful track, it's so aggressive. So I wanted to express in those lyrics that this is where it kind of gets very simplistic, so nobody can like interpret the lyrics in weird ways. It's about we bring the Christians to the arena and we let the beasts feed them. Um, and that's about it. It's a very aggressive and hateful set of words against Christian people. And then there are lyrics like the end track. That's actually inspired. You cannot see it, but someday I try to show it to you. Um, so we live by the sea and the forest, and then there's fields surrounding both ways. So when there is this hill where this forest, it's kind of a steep. Um, how I'm seeing in the ending track, the Night Side album, the last track is very much inspired, you know, like how would I feel if I went for a walk in this kind of a winter darkness, like winter night. You would see snow all around you, and you would be very, very alone. And because this is an island, um, you don't see the city lights creating this light pollution in the sky. But if I would go up out now, right now, I would see a lot of stars. Because if you're living in a city, there's so much light that you cannot really see the sky, with the stars and all. But here in the countryside, you can actually see the stars really, really well, and it's very fucking captivating. Sometimes when I have gone home, come back from the bars, say 3 a.m. in the morning, and I walk from the bus stop or wherever the taxi leaves me, and I'm staring at the fucking stars. I'm like feeling like this fucking small. And that's how the solitude lyrics came to be. It's in a way as romantic I can be. I'm not a romantic person, but you know, as I'm saying here is like the solitude thing is I can see the cliffside, the forest, and the snowy fields around me. Um, it kind of puts me as like third person kind of a perspective, so I get to see myself being this guy walking through the snow and ice. Everything is kind of dark, and this walking in solitude is like me being there alone with my thoughts, with my own self, and also understanding that as much as I try to explain my feelings, I mean my emotions, my thoughts to everybody else, they're not gonna fully understand it. And I think we all have these moments when we really feel like like our life is just for us. Nobody else can understand what we feel and what we are really all about. And even if it sounds kind of a naive, like, oh yeah, everybody has the same story, like sometimes people need to really listen to themselves, like what they're going through. It's not maybe negative, positive, it's just neutral. So we are right there with our own unique life experience. It might be very similar to a lot of people, but still your own life is very unique. Like your experience in your love life, with your work, with your parents, with your family, with your friends, whatever you do, it's still different from the rest of the guys. So, say you play in a band, and you might think that the guys around you are your best pals. They really might be, but each and every one of them has a different aspect in life. They're different age, they have different backgrounds, they have different experience in love life or whatever. Some are single, some are married, some are older, some are younger, some have a happy life, some have unhappy life. But point is, whatever perspective you have, it's unique. And when you really go for that dive into your life, that's when you realize it's you have this kind of a solitude that kind of encapsulates you. So even if you're surrounded by these other fingers, let's pretend they're your family or your good friends, when you are here, that's where you are still in solitude. And that's how the song, really got the idea from. So when I'm thinking about this surrounding being ice and snow, and this starry sky, and that's when you're walking those fields and that forest. I've been to the forest in many, many times, obviously. Not winter time, night time. So there's a little bit fiction mixed with reality, but that's where you are alone. That's where you are in solitude. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share because you made a good question about questions about the album lyrics. So and I mean I could tell you a story of each and every set of lyrics, but would take so much time. So maybe we'll save for the other stream. And now I must thank you, of course, Rob Hellfire for donation of this Canadian dollars. So much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution, Rob. This is very appreciated. Yes, and we really need to feed the lions, and if we can really keep these religious people to this. All right, now I gotta be going. It's been more than 3 hours on the stream, so I want to thank each and every one of you who took part of this stream. And I hate to leave it as soon as Rob donated money, but I wanted to go already 15 minutes ago. So yeah, but I will ask you answer your latest questions before I go. So there is that. Um, Jay is asking, does Steelfest have any plans for expanding to other countries? Yeah, you need that kind of a festival in South America as well. Unfortunately, I don't think it's possible to take Steelfest into other countries. It's not like up to me to decide, but I doubt I think it's impossible. So I guess so. That's and then thank you, Guy, correcting me. It's actually Voice of Steel. What I was talking about, Nocturnal Mortem's translated album. And yeah, Blood of King is kind of a B rated for me anyway. Um, oh, Magic 69, what would be? Which one of the first three is worse than Panzerfaust? Um, First three, in my opinion, Panzerfaust is better than Ablaze or Soulside Journey. I meant more like my favorite, top three Doctrine albums would be in this order. This is something I went through in my video about Doctrine discography. Is the best is Transylvanian Hunger, and Funeral Mood would be the second, and Panzerfaust would be the third one. That is my top three for Dark Throne. And Soulside Journey is somewhere in the middle in my whole Dark Throne opinion. Guy, thank you so much for the Crumbling Tower. That's another set of lyrics which I guess I could explain. It's a very negative, very pessimistic ones. It was inspired people I know in real life who want to do so much this and that, but they just kind of got crumbled. Crumbling Tower is one of my favorite tracks on the album musically. Maybe not my favorite set of lyrics, though, because I mean, I'm very happy with the lyrics. They turned out, in my opinion, good in terms of being pessimistic. But you always have your favorites in a way. So there's that. But the Grumbling Tower is, in my opinion, one of our best tracks, and it was great to play that song for the first time a while ago. So there is that. And Ruby's asking, do I listen to 80s or 90s Finnish music like Levi and the Leaving, Seppo Normali, etc.? No, I don't. I don't really like that kind of a Finnish rock and roll music. Um, and good night, the and yeah, it would be great to meet you at at Beyond the Gates, Bergen. We have this habit of banging into one another, various cities in Norway too. So it's always good to have you around, Thea. So it would be really nice to meet you there as well. Um, and talking about Blake Wheeler and Ravishing Grimness, they might be underrated, but in my opinion, they are not that great in terms of Dark Throne either. So, but that's all in my Dark Throne video, so I'm not going to recap it here. Thank you, Rob, about your words regarding In Solitude I Wonder. About the next Night Side release, I can only say this much, that we have now recorded drums today for the new demo, which is not meant for public but for labels, because songs will be released on the album when once we get that far, and it's gonna include pretty fucking dark music in terms of black metal, and the lyrics are, at least some of them, are very offending to some religions. Some of them are just kind of how to put it, some of them are just like very dark. And when we played one of the first songs, Into the Night Eternal, live, and I get this feeling at rehearsal plays, it's kind of a very possessed song. I'm not referring to the band Possessed, but I mean, when I get into the mindset of the song, it kind of possess me, because there is something very vampiristic. You will get to understand it when the lyrics go out and all. But anyway, now I have to go, so I will quickly answer your last questions. And GamerWorld.net asked me how I played any of the Max Payne and Alan Wake games. I have played through all the Max Payne games. They're really great. Alan Wake, I gave up, but I still play Alan Wake 2. And thank you, Rob Hellfire, for your comments. Really great to hear that comments. I don't know when the August stream will be. Um, if I can make it from Norway at Beyond the Gates, I will do it. But maybe 2 weeks later, because the first weekend in August is Beyond the Gates. And then there will be Helsinki Metal Festival, where I'll be attending to, celebrating my birthday. So most likely the stream will be the next weekend after that. And terrorized, thank you, good night, and good night, Rep, good night, GamerWorld.net, good night, Alexi Hevari, and Go Beach, yes, and rest of you guys. Thank you so much, and see you in August with the next stream, and I hope to present you some content from Beyond the Gates. So few weeks, you wait, and we'll get you later. And stay tuned for next week's interview, as well as the review videos and all that stuff. And good night, people. And Edicted, thank you so much for yes, craft interview would be great. I have tried them once or twice, so let's hope it will happen in the future. But now, good night, people, and thank you for these 3 hours and beyond. Off you go. Take care and stay metal.